Hey, thank you guys so much for coming. When we had talked about doing this event on December 20th, 5 days before Christmas, we didn't really have any idea how the turnout was going to be. And so this is really phenomenal. Thank you to everybody for showing up today. Thank you guys. Now, where's Zach Bach? Zach Bach, where you at? So Zach and I flew in this morning from LAX. Zach is my partner in Entrepreneur Power Panels. And David Wigg, here with Partners Mortgage, picked us up from the airport and brought us over here with 10 minutes to spare. So it's been an exciting morning that started at 2:45 this morning. Time is very important to me. Time is incredibly important. It's one of those things that they don't print more of. Thank you. We got one. Yes. Okay. So you guys could have been doing a lot of different things today. I'm sure that everybody has gotten their Christmas shopping done. Thank you. I appreciate you guys prioritizing this and showing up. A lot of people are talking about the shift. Has anybody and then it got quiet. Has anybody felt it a little bit in this last year in their business? About 10 to 20%. Some people are like, "No, I only win. I close 100 more transactions than I did last year." Good for you, lady in red. For the rest of us, it was a little bit rough this last year. Okay. So what I'm going to talk to you guys about is time. And I'm going to talk to you guys about fear. Time is very important to me. I have time tattooed on my body. It's about being present. It's about making the most of right now. Making the most of your business right now. I had somebody come up to me recently at one of these entrepreneur power panels that we were doing on recession proofing your business. And she said to me, "What are your 3-year goals?" Like she was going to stump me or something like that. And I said, I don't even know if I'm going to be alive in 3 years from now. Just being honest. We all set those vision boards. We set those dream boards. We cut out the Bugatti and the Lamborghini and everything. We put it up on the wall. But the thing is it takes a little bit to get there. It takes time. And some of us are not always afforded the time to get there. It takes passion, it takes grit, it takes will. And a big part of it is it takes rising above fear. How many people here have ever been afraid? Good, about half the room. The other you guys, you guys get signed up for the Avengers or something like that. I know what it's like to be afraid. I grew up in Section 8 housing. I was raised by a single mother. I'm a combat veteran. If you don't know what it's like to be afraid, have 3 medium machine guns shooting at you all at the same time. That will really set things straight for you really quick. Where are my veterans at? Right on. Thank you, guys. My sister and fellow realtor, combat veteran, is right there as well. Amy, thank you. John Wayne said that courage is being scared to death but saddling up anyway. It's not about being afraid. Everyone is afraid. Everyone has been afraid at some point or another. I was unfortunate or fortunate enough that I was in a situation where I was on top of a hill called St. Mary's Hill with a sniper, and I was a machine gunner, and we were being fired at by 3 machine gun posts, trying to keep our friend out alive. I wasn't scared when my finger was on the trigger. I was scared during the lulls in that 45-minute firefight. It's the time a lot of times that we are alone, that we are looking at ourselves, that we're wondering how we're going to put food on the table, that's when fear sets in. That's when all of that keeps us up at night sets in. So what I ask people is, if you were not afraid, if fear was a non-issue for you, what would you accomplish today? Not what would you accomplish 3 years from now. What would you accomplish 5 years from now? What would you accomplish today? Being present. That's why I don't set 3-year goals. Because every single day I wake up and I look at myself and I think I would need to be a little bit better of a person at the end of the day than I was this morning. It's as simple as that. If we do that every day, we might be okay. You don't have to wake up and commit yourself to this crazy schedule of, oh, I'm going to work 20 hours a day this year so that next year I could live the life that I want to live. And then in the meantime, you're sacrificing your now for tomorrow. You're sacrificing that time with your children for tomorrow. Freedom is financial freedom. If you can't do what you want to do tomorrow, you are not financially free. You become financially free by diversifying your income streams, by learning things like today that you didn't already know, and then having some courage to saddle up anyway. Is making 100 calls in a day, is that scary? Sure. Is knocking on doors, is it scary? Yes. Are open houses scary? Sometimes. Sometimes open houses are scary. But your success will be defined by the number of awkward conversations you're willing to have, the amount of time that you're willing to face fear. Most of you have grit, and you don't even know it yet. Most of you have what it takes to fight for your family, to fight for yourself, to fight for your neighbor, but a lot of us will never be tested, so we live in a constant mindset of fear. What's the worst possible thing that could happen? Now, what's the best? Why are we waiting for Superman to come save us? Why are you not worthy of a cape? You know what you need to do. The difference is grit. It's will. You know that you have it, that you could turn it on, right? You know you could turn it on because you've turned it on before. But what if you fought like your life depended on it when you weren't under threat? What if you fought to thrive like Tom Daves has fought to thrive and closed 7,000 transactions? That doesn't happen without grit. That doesn't happen without force of will. Brent Gove doesn't close 4,000 transactions by not being in touch with his love center. And a lot of people look at love and they laugh at it. We'll all be willing to admit that we're afraid. But when you start talking about leading with love, leading with abundance, that's when you start losing people, unfortunately. Sebastian Junger wrote a book called Tribe. He defined your tribe as a group of people that you would feel compelled to share the last of your food with. I have left and changed 7 brokerages in the last 3 years. Everyone's like, what in the world? I was looking for reciprocity. I was looking for somebody to help me as much as I was helping the brokerage. I was looking for somebody to invest in me the way that I invested in them. And a broker never got me paid. A broker never got me paid. But in my second month in real estate, when I closed 7 escrows, and I made $35,000, I made a broker $18,000. I said, you need to justify that number to me. You need to justify that number to me. I'm paying you. And I started understanding value. And I started understanding reciprocity. Because what you appreciate, appreciates. You want to have more love in your household? You want to feel more love? You want to change the world? Go home and love your wife. You want to change your life? That's what Mother Teresa said. Go home and love your family. When we choose love, fear becomes a non-issue. When we choose love, fear becomes a non-issue. And then it becomes, who's our tribe? Who do we want to share our food with? And with the model, and I'm not going to say the name of the company that we all work with, but I get an opportunity to share my food. I get an opportunity every time that I get paid. My sponsor, David Golding, gets paid. We share our food. We eat together. We eat together. That's the best part. It's a culture of collaboration because what you appreciate, appreciates. When you put energy into the world and then the world comes back to you and says, here, have more. Yes, and. Because they can't count you out. They can't count you out. Courage is being scared to death but saddling up anyway. When I was being fired at by 3 medium machine guns, I balled my fist up in front of my face and I kept firing. Because I did not want my spinal cord to be severed if I got shot. I wanted to keep my friends alive. A lot of people go to Iraq, they go to Afghanistan, and they say, I was already dead when I got there. I was already dead. I went there and I said, I will be the most violent man on the battlefield so that I can get home and I can bring as many people as I can home with me. Don't count me out. Don't count yourselves out. Rise. Think about that grit. Think about that will. What could you accomplish if fear was not an issue? If you were living with a little bit more love and a little bit less fear? Who is your tribe? Who would you feel compelled to share the last of your food with? The next person that's coming up here is Rick Jiha. Rick Jiha, the first time that I met this man, we stood there with each other in Vegas. I drove all the way out to Vegas for a one-day trip to go see him. And we both cried looking at each other. I just fell in love with this guy. He's a heart-centered trainer. If you want to find more about this man, look up your Freedom Pathfinder. First time I heard this guy speak, he talked about be, do, have, which hopefully you guys hear a little bit about that today. But every time I hear him speak, he changes my life. It is a pleasure to introduce to you somebody that I get to share my food with, Mr. Rick Jiha.
Good morning. So the opposite of having machine guns pointed at you and shooting at you, which literally made my stomach sink to think about him. He's 32 years old. He's the age of my oldest son. I'm going to be speaking about the opposite of that, Disneyland. So I'm feeling pretty honored to be up here today. I mean, this is after I get off the stage, I asked to be first because I am literally, my wife thinks I'm nuts. She goes, wait, you're driving 2 hours to give a 30-minute speech and then you're driving 2 hours back and you're not getting paid? I go, yeah. She goes, you're living in that dream Rick Jiha world again, aren't you? And this is what I love doing, right? I sell real estate to make a living, but I speak to enjoy the passions of my life. So I'm very, very happy to be here with you today, excited as heck because I have about 4 hours worth of stuff to deliver in 30 minutes. So put your seatbelts on. My Christmas gift to myself this year, I've been to Disneyland a lot. I'm a California native. But I've only once when my kids were small, they're 32 and 29, but when they were about 11 and 14, we went to Disneyland one time during the Christmas season, and I got to see all the lights and everything. So I said my Christmas gift to myself is to take myself to Disneyland all day on Friday the 21st. So I'm flying down there this afternoon, and we're going to Disneyland all day tomorrow. My wife's a super high D. That's a person who, when there's a lot of children screaming people in lines, wants to either shoot all of those people or shoot herself. So when she heard that was my idea of my Christmas gift, she was like, yeah, well, have fun with that. And I said, no, I'm finally to a place, honey, where I could go. Like, we work on ourselves, personal development a lot. And I said, I'm finally to the place, honey, where I'm good. I'll go by myself if you really don't want to go. As it turns out, she really did want to go because she knows it's me. I'm a Christmasaholic. As you can see, when I leave the house, she goes, "Oh, Christmas vomited on you again, I see." So what's the point of that? There is a point behind everything I say, and there's a reason why I start the story with that. Is David Serpa always, whenever he's talking, he gives me a lot of perspective. He gives me perspective about a life I've never lived. My father was a veteran, I wasn't. But I understand more by listening to David, a young 32-year-old, I always say he's 32 going on 56, about what it takes to do what we do. We are all real estate agents, or we are in the real estate industry. We have to wake up every day to make a living such that we can change the outcome for ourselves and our families and the people we really love. One of the things that comes up around this time of the year, I travel the country and all over U.S. and Canada doing classes on business planning. I should probably put this up. And the classes I do on business planning are, every year we're doing. As a matter of fact, let me just stop and do a quick commercial. Get your pens and papers out. On January 3rd, here in this area, we're either going to do it here at PCAR or we're going to do it at the Falls Event Center. Brent Gove and I are doing a 3-hour business planning class from 1 to 4 p.m. It'll be $49, and the information on where will come out. So it's very important that if you're interested in attending this, I promise you, you will walk away with Not a completed business plan, but you'll have a business plan workbook and know how to fill it out, because it takes about 5 to 7 actual hours to fill out a really quality business plan. But you're going to have the mindset, you're going to have the tools, and you'll walk away with it. It'll be, again, January 3rd, 1 to 4 p.m. We'll get you a location. Please don't miss that. But the reason I say that is we spend too much time overestimating what we can do in a year and underestimating what we can do in a career. If we're going to make a career of this, believe me, ladies and gentlemen, I did not plan on selling real estate for 39 years. I did not plan that when I got into it. It wasn't like I go, let's keep doing this until we croak. That wasn't on the goal sheet. All right? But some financial crap happened. I owned 7 Keller Williams offices. Not a brilliant move. I had a very hairy divorce. I made some bad financial decisions, which means I still sell real estate. But I do not have a passion for selling real estate. I have a huge passion for what I can do with the money. All right? All of us have had that moment where we spoke, where you're at the front door, and like we just did this. We just closed one Monday of this week, with a veteran couple, a husband and wife that are both vets and both cops right now. And we get a lot of that because I have a lot of cops in my life. My assistant is married to a cop. We had a lot of cops growing up in our lives. So you imagine my buyer's agent is standing at the door with the key, unlocking the door, and there's some emotion, and the buyers are weeping, and oh, it's our first house, and she cracks the door open and takes the key out and hands it to him, and there's some hugging, and then she comes back to the office and says, where's my commission check? Is this not something we do? Don't we get emotional about what we're able to do with people by selling them a house or selling their house and allowing them to move on to their dreams? Yes or no? Yes, but we do it for the money. Let's be honest. If you were not getting paid, you would not be doing it. Now, what you do with the money is where you start to find your motivation and inspiration. So I want to stop and show you this screen right here. I don't know how well you can see it from where you're sitting. But I saw this on Facebook and it moved me emotionally, and I'm going to tell you why. What you see is a man and a woman chiseling away at themselves to become the best version of themselves. On the bottom it says, listen carefully, man cannot remake himself without suffering, for he is both the marble and the sculptor. And it is an absolutely best photograph that I've ever seen that indicates what we do when we're going through life. Because if, ladies and gentlemen, you want to have your best year ever in 2019, even if 2018 was your best year ever, in fact, I should stop and say that side note, that I don't know anybody that when you ask them if they had their, what was your year like, and say, I had my best year ever. I go, so I assume you want 2019 to be worse? No one ever says yes to that. So when you talk about people, they say, well, he had his best year ever, I had my worst year ever. So what do you have in common? You both want 2019 to be better, right? We want to have a different outcome. And I love that David brought up be, do, have. That's a whole nother story in itself. But what I want you to stop and think, would someone be willing, for someone who can see this and heard what I said about it, what would that picture represent to you? Just in a quick mindset thing. When you look at this picture, what does it mean to you? Because translation of these is like art. Everybody has a different opinion about it, and the opinions are not good, bad, right, or wrong. They are yours. They're nobody else's business. I'd like to hear your opinion on what that picture might mean to one of you. I got all day. What's your name, ma'am? Hi, Audrey. Okay. Good, that's your translation. As long as no one said it looks like it's something about weight loss. When someone said that, I said, get out of the room. So what, yes?
It's already there in me.
Oh my God. I want to hold you and hug you and kiss you. I'm so glad I didn't say that. I can get away with saying that. As I can get away with wearing a red suit, I can get away with saying that. What I want you to, did you hear that? Say that again. It's
already in me.
Yes, I just got to get it out. Ladies and gentlemen, each and every one of you is perfect. If you don't believe that, that is a choice that you've made not to believe that. But the fact is, There is foundational proof that that is true. That all you have to do is dig out the goodness inside of you. This picture is absolutely not about weight loss or a chiseled body. It's about you working on you to get out the best you possible. It's always there. My biggest challenge, my wife and I, every year, at the end of the year, we set a word, one word that is going to be our context for the next year. And when we set that word, that becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy of how that year will turn out. We goofed. We set some pretty powerful words last year in December of 2017 for 2018. And I picked a word that I'd seen on a television show. The word was resurgam, R-E-S-U-R-G-A-M, resurgam. We saw it on a television show, and we went and looked it up, and it means I will rise again. I'm like, that's my word! And then she picked transcend. That was her word for the year. Oh my gosh, we really goofed. We didn't realize how much growth and pain those two words would bring into our lives in 2018. But you know what? If you believe truly that all miracles start with pain, then you're in gratitude during the pain. Do you get that? If you believe truly that all miracles start with pain, then you are in gratitude during the pain. We did more self-growth, more personal growth, took on more challenges that had been in our lives for many, many years, saw lawyers, made lawsuits go away, got things started out that were very uncomfortable to do, and on the outcome today, I am again being able to say at the end of the year, I'm living the best life I've ever lived in my 61 years now, today. So, when I speak and don't get paid, I know I'm doing the thing I love most to help you. I don't care if you walk out and say that freaking idiot was wearing a red suit. I don't care. I don't wear my red suit for you. I finally wear it for me. I don't speak for you. I speak for me so that I can share with you something that you might use to make a difference going forward. And I walk out of here today to go run back home, pick up my wife, and go catch that flight, I'm not going to be thinking about whether you liked me or not. But for most of my speaking career, I did. Now I live a much freer life where I can say, I gave it my all, I hope they'll use it. I listened to an interview with Spencer Johnson. How many of you know who he is off the top of your head? If I said he wrote a book called Who Moved My Cheese, would you know him? Yeah, so in the interview, the interviewer was saying to Spencer Johnson, we were on a phone conference call, there was about 1,000 people on listening to this interview, and the interviewer said, Spencer, what do you say when someone comes up to you and says, your books have changed my life, I'm so grateful? He said, oh, I look them back in the eye and I say, the credit goes to you, the reader. And the interviewer said, wow, that seems so humble, how can you say that? He said, I can say it very simply. Because I'm not going to take credit for the people who come up to me and said, I read your book, it was a waste of money, it didn't do anything for me. He said, because if I take credit for the people who come up to me and say, I read your book and it changed my life, then I also have to take credit for the people who said, I read your book, you big fake, it did nothing for me. And it's the same now. I was able to use that lesson to say, wow, then it's just my responsibility to deliver the message. And what you decide to do with it. Why is it when you, how many of you, let me just ask this question, and please participate, meaning raise your hand if it's you, okay? This is not a class where you're going to walk out going, they noticed me raising my hand. Really? There are bigger things, but here's the question. How many of you know one thing that you could do in your real estate business every single day that if you did it, it would dramatically change the outcome of your real estate business for the better, and you are not currently doing that one thing? Raise your hand. Right? You don't need a freaking seminar. Go do that one thing. But why do I say that? If it were as easy as that, then we'd all be rich and we wouldn't be here today. Right? If I had done all those things I know, am I messing this up, Rob? Should I stay? Okay. If I had just followed that my whole life, not gone and opened up real estate offices or pursued speaking or coaching and just focused on my sales, I would no longer be selling real estate. Do you agree with that? But it doesn't matter because it's been perfect. It's been perfect because it's brought me my lessons. And it's allowed me to get to where I am today. So what I want for you is to have all of that. My word for this year, I've already picked it, is integration. That's my new word for 2019. What does that mean to me? All of the stuff and lessons I've learned over the years, but certainly this year, I can tell you that I cried half the trip over here this morning, half the 90-minute drive, by listening to Christmas carols that reminded me of the ones I used to sing with my sons when they were smaller. One of them in particular was Happy Ho 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 to You by Harry Connick. Right? Like, so when they were kids, that was a big album. We used to listen to the whole album together. I actually texted them that song this morning to listen to. And the reason I say that is, what happens? The more in tune you get with where you want to go and how you're getting there, the more emotional you'll be about how fun life is in the moment. And that's the one thing I couldn't agree more with what David said up here, is he said, yeah, it's amazing to have big dreams, and please learn to dream big. Remember how you used to dream big as a kid and do more of it. But you got to have fun in the moment. You got to be that person that is the same person you'd be if all of your dreams and goals came true. I'm going to move the slide. I only brought a PowerPoint because Brent said I had to, because I generally don't talk with one. So these are two books by Simon Sinek, great books. I want to zip through this, but I always say that people get inundated with people telling them to know their why, right? So I used to think my why was to do this, but what I realized is this is my passion. My biggest why in the world is to spend quality time with my wife and my 2 grown sons. That's my why. Everything I do pushes me to more time with my wife and with my 2 sons. Now, I think it's cool for me. I don't care about you, but for me, I do care about you in a lot of ways, but not about that. That a lot of people say, really, that's the thing? You just want to be with your wife more? I say, yeah. Second marriage for both of us, we got it right this time. Okay? And so what is it? I want to spend more time with her. So she travels with me when I travel on business. I travel with her when she does. And we start making our life that way. But the reason I say that, look at this next slide, is I say, what the heck is a why? I'm a bit too busy having to do anything but pay the bills and spend time with my family, and then I go to bed, and you want to ask me about a freaking why? I'll give you a why. Get the hell out of my way, why? Right? But this is what happens. People get that. But if you wouldn't focus on the why as much and start understanding, what would I be doing if money weren't an object? What would I be doing? If money weren't an object, what would I spend doing? I'm going to suggest to you, ladies and gentlemen, that besides work and sex, that there is one thing that when we are doing it, we are fully fulfilled, and we are complete, and we are in a good world, and we don't need to be reminded to do this, and we don't set alarms. I'll give you an example. I play basketball 2 to 3 days a week. I have to leave my house. I have to get up at 4:15 and leave my house at 4:30. I'm at basketball by 5:05. I warm up, stretch. About 5:25, we start playing. Play for about 90 minutes. I never miss it. I don't even, I'm up 90% of the time before my alarm goes off, whether I got an hour of sleep or 5 or 6 hours sleep. I don't miss basketball. Besides work and sex, if basketball were gone, I'd be miserable. Do you get that? Like, we all love our work, I think. I think we all get into our work even when we don't have a huge passion for it, if you have a passion for the money. But what is the one thing for you? For my wife, it's her horseback riding. She wants to learn to be a better horseback rider. She wants to ride more horses. All of that stuff, that's her thing. What's your thing? And if you had more money, would you do more of that thing? Would it be golf or travel? And if it were travel, what would it be? So I want you to get a grasp on that. Here's some guidelines about developing a why, and I can easily email you this PowerPoint presentation. I'll get it to Brent, and he can send it out. But this is what I call it. It's funding your fun. It's whatever that fun is, that's what I want to fund, right? So being able to go to Disneyland tomorrow all day, stay till the evening, see the fireworks and the parades, get to see It's a Small World with Christmas decorations, and go through Pirates of the Caribbean. That's it. If I do that, I've got my Christmas present. Right? So all of that is, you've got to start deciding, what are the things I want for me, and how hard will I go after them? I don't care if you freaking hate what you do. Do it better than anyone else, and your rewards will come. It was my 13th year in real estate, still selling tons of houses, starting to get noticed by people, which I thought, that's weird. Nobody noticed me before, but because I sold a bunch of houses, people noticed me. I'm like, I'm still the same guy, right? And I started to realize that that's the way life is played, that, you get noticed when you do something amazingly well. My 29-year-old, he makes $36,000 a year working 50 to 60 hours a week as a very accomplished journalist. I showed him one of my commission checks last week that was bigger than his entire year's salary. And he said, good for you, I'm still not going into real estate. He said, now if you want to give me some of that, that's different. But what I told him is that anything you do well, if it's not something you have a ton of passion for, do it well anyway. He has a ton of passion for it. He writes amazing articles. I remember the first time, he's mostly in the local sections of papers, but every once in a while he pops out on the front page of the San Jose Mercury News or the East Bay Times, and I'm his dad. I'm like, frame it! I have 37 framed articles now. I don't have anywhere to hang them. Right? My other son was still using my credit card and his mother's credit card when he was 29 years old. He's 32 now and he makes $125,000 a year. I'm like, I just get on my knees and say, thank you, Lord. But what I get is that all of that wrapped up is all lessons. How did I become a better parent? At 50, I thought my boys hated me because I left their mother and I was not a good example. At 60, at my 60th birthday, the two boys that I thought disdained me and that all of my horrible habits were going to get absorbed by them, they delivered impromptu speeches at my 60th birthday party that had me and all 110 guests crying their eyes out. Because, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are today, it's the start of the new you. That's all. You can look back and say, wow, how will I ever make up for all those mistakes? Instead of looking backwards, say, my life is a series of decisions and choices, and I have to believe fully that when the decisions and choices don't give me the result that I planned on when I made the decision and choice, that I must be grateful and happy in that moment because it's where I learned my lesson to take me to my next decision or choice. Do you get that? Behind me today are going to be a bunch of people delivering much more incredible content than I'm even giving you. I felt my job was that I assigned myself was to get your mind ready to accept what they will share with you. Because once your mind is ready, you'll move into action. And let me remind you, ladies and gentlemen, I've got 9 minutes left and I want this point to come across really big. Get out a piece of paper where you can write some ideas down. And I want you to yell out things. I don't want you to wait to raise your hand. But I want you to imagine, does anybody in here currently have a 3-year-old? Okay? Was anyone in here ever a 3-year-old? Thank you. See, you still didn't raise your hand. There's no way you got to what age you are and skipped over 3, all right? But I want you to think about how a 3-year-old is. How do they behave? How are they being? So I want you to throw out some words, but I want you to yell it loud. So give me one. I'm going to give you one. Resilient. Give me another one. Inquisitive. In the moment. Notice that? In the moment. In the now. What else? What? Wild? Did you say wild? They certainly are. Of course, you speak from experience since there's one sitting next to you. What else? What did you say? Happy. Yes. Are they happy? Oh my gosh. Are they persistent? Yes. They take no for an answer? No, they don't. They might for a second, but they're going to come back. And they're going to go, I've thought of a new argument, Mom, about why that cookie should be mine now. Oh, we shouldn't be educating him on this stuff right while he's here today. Sidhu, did you have one? Curious. They're very curious. Are they persistent? Okay, what else? Name some other stuff. No filters. Yes, they speak their mind. They're fearless. But notice the stuff that we don't do any longer ourselves. Literally, I paid a coach $3,500 a month for 2 one-hour calls for the past 9 months to teach me how to speak my mind and be okay with whatever happens after that. Right? How many of us don't speak our mind because we can't withstand the storm that comes after we speak our mind? Anyone? Come on. That's most of you, by the way. 87% of the human race, 87%, and we had about 1% raise their hand in the classroom. That's okay. You can keep your demons to yourself because I know them better than you do. I'm the one up here sharing mine. When you get bold enough to share them in a big crowd that you did stuff that you weren't proud of all growing up in your 30s and 40s and even 50s and then change the way so that you could die being an example. That's what I want for you. So when you think about how a 3-year-old, besides my mom and dad who are no longer living, one of my idols is a man named Richard Branson. And the more I've studied Richard Branson, the more I see that his behavior in his 50s and 60s is that of a 3-year-old. All of the same traits and characteristics: resilient, persistent, doesn't take no for an answer, speaks their mind, they're fun, they're happy. He jumps out of airplanes, he's philanthropic, he gives generously. You ever seen a 3-year-old with a cookie and there's only one cookie and there's another 3-year-old around? Like, you don't have to tell them. Most of them, not all of them, but most of them will share it. Do you get that? So I want you to think, how do I have to be? I have to be a certain way to do something that I've never done before. And if I'm going to sell more houses next year, I have a huge goal. There's some people in here who have done it many times before me, but in 38 and a half years, I've never listed 100 houses in a year. So my huge, gigantic goal for next year is to list 100 homes. My average sale price is about $1.2 million. Will I have had a good year? You're freaking right, I will have. Right? So I've always had all these excuses. So I have this big, hairy, audacious goal. It's making my whole team very nervous right now. Like, they're like, he's not letting up. He's serious. You're damn right I'm serious, because I've never done it and I want to do it. But what I'm saying is, I know for a fact that I have to be a different Rick in the year that I listed 40 houses than I will be in the 2019 year that I list 100. I cannot be the same person and accomplish different things. Okay? That's where be, do, have is. I have to start by being the guy who's acting and performing as if all of his wild dreams had come true. If I'm acting, how would I be? Think about all the traits we just said of a 3-year-old. If all of my dreams had come true, I'd be more like a 3-year-old. I'd be walking around like, what's up? You know who I am? I'm the guy whose all his dreams and goals have come true. And start thinking about how you would be being if that happened. You'd be confident, you'd be bold, you'd be decisive, you'd be philanthropic, you'd be all these great things. But ladies and gentlemen, you have to dig deep, like that first picture I showed you, to find the authentic, vulnerable you. And when the world starts seeing that, so many rewards come your way. When you stop dwelling on all the, excuse my language, all the shit that came, and start looking at it as grateful lessons, then when you move forward, you're using the tools you learned from your decisions that went awry to create the most amazing life ever. Do you get where that comes from? Like sharing that with your friends and family, leaving here today and taking what you learned and sharing them with your fellow realtors and your people in your life and saying, oh my God, I got there today and I got something I didn't expect. And I'm going to tell you, if you leave here today after hearing all these brilliant speakers who are all sharing from their heart and their stories for free, I want you to think about why you left with something. The credit goes to you, because you got here and decided that I was coming here to get something good. Because there will be people who left here, who came here begrudgingly, or because someone told them they should be here. And they're going to go back and have the same nothingness that they had before they got here, because that's what they decided. Everything is a self-fulfilling prophecy. Everything. When I look at my word integration for next year, I'm good. I'm good for it to come at me with any whoops or whatever comes up from integration that I'm not aware of, because I know it will be a decision I made that I'm going to stand behind. I'm still going to buy outrageous suits. I'm still going to say things about my life that most people would be too embarrassed to say in front of crowds, because I know God didn't put me here for a small reason. And the same is absolutely true for you. I want to wish you the best, whatever the hell you celebrate this year. But if you celebrate Christmas like I do, the merriest of Christmas to all of you, and know that everything you want in life is already in you. You just have to dig it out and go for it. God bless you.
Okay, one more time for Rick Jiha. Thank you, guys. Really tremendous, Rick. Thank you. There is a great Eckhart Tolle book called The Power of Now. And just for a second here, I want to let you guys all know, you are not broken. You are not damaged goods. Whatever has happened up until this point in your life is okay. You are here now. You have a heart beating in your chest. God or whatever out there is in the universe is not done with you. There's a great story that Eckhart Tolle wrote in his book. He said that there was a man who every day was sitting on a box and he would ask him for money. And every day he would give him money. And then one day he didn't have any money to give him. And he said, I don't have any money to give you. Have you considered looking in this box? And the man opens the box and he realizes that this box is full of gold. And he'd been sitting on it this whole time. You have your own gold inside of you. Somewhere along the way, we forget that. We start thinking we're not good enough. We're not okay. 100% of my team made over $100,000 that stick with me for 18 months, including my TC. That's 9 people that all made over $100,000. That's not me. I didn't help them. I didn't do that for them. I didn't walk them in the water and make them drink. They did it. I just helped them realize that they were good enough. I just helped them realize that they were good enough. And that's it. Our next speaker is a Navy veteran who has been on House Hunters on HGTV and is ranked in the top 100 nationally by the Wall Street Journal. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Sean Work.
Good morning, everybody. What a great turnout, huh? Yeah, we're going to be handing out some one-page flyers here. So if you can share them, we don't have enough for everybody. So she's handing them out right here. If you'll indulge me, I've written a little Academy Award speech. So just for a minute, I want to make sure I hit everybody. It's obviously humbling and a great honor for me to be here today with amongst these icons in the real estate industry. Thanks, Brent and Dave, for putting this event on. A lot goes into the marketing and to the preparation for the event. So kudos to you guys, and then kudos also to the speakers. So give yourself some props. Go ahead, give it up. Okay, for showing up here. Oh yeah, here we go. I know you, everybody who's come here with an open mind, willing to participate, and I promise not to drop too many F-bombs today, so we'll keep it at PG-13. We're going to move super quick. I want you to be honest with yourself. I want you to give yourself a fair assessment. We've got a lot of data to cover in such a short period of time, so please do participate. Everybody take out a piece of paper up front because I'm going to need you to write some stuff down, okay? Here's the bottom line. We are currently in the eye of one of the most unique, interesting, change-induced, technology-dependent times in the real estate industry. One where there is massive separation from those that are making it in the real estate industry and those that are failing. Would you agree? Okay, cool. So we're all here to find opportunities to disrupt the market, and today we're going to be talking about building a lead generation company. So here's what it looks like. This is 30,000 from 30,000 feet, okay? Company A. Some of you may have not heard this before when you got into the real estate industry, but your main goal is to market and prospect every day, right? So we have to separate it. We got to say, what does Company A look like and what does Company B look like? So Company A, this is where you should be spending 80% of your time. For a 40-hour work week, that's 32 hours, okay? That's a lot. This company is a lead generation, a marketing, and I'm going to add something else in there. It's a persuasion company. The bottom line is if you don't have any sales skills, you're going to fail, okay? We're going to talk about the statistics of failure in the real estate industry in a moment. We're nurturing, we're following up, we're setting appointments, we've defined our lead levers. Everybody know what a lead lever is? It's how you get your business. If I said, how are you going to get your business in 2019? You would respond back, open houses, telephone calls, pop buys, whatever that may be, okay? And ultimately, and this is what Tom, where's Tom at? Tom Daves, there you are in the back. This is what I appreciate about Tom so much. He does research and development. How do you think you stay on top for so many years? You got to be changing based on what's happening with the market, okay? So then we have Company B. This is where most of us as an industry operate in most of the time. And this is customer service. If we're listing homes, we are a retail person. We have something to sell. If we're representing buyers, we are in the service industry. We're negotiating offers, et cetera, repair requests. And this is where management comes from. And if we're talking chicken and the egg, guys, Let's get on the egg side first before we're hatching the chickens, okay? Ultimately, the majority of businesses fail because they don't have enough customers. Whether you're a landscaper, whether you've opened up a restaurant, whatever it may be, or a lot of the times people get into our industry from other industries and think, wow, this is going to be easy. And then they realize, damn, I got the same problem. I don't have enough clients or customers, okay? So here's the deal. You are the product. Take yourself to the market, okay? We used to need brokers to do that for us. We don't need them anymore. We need to facilitate the contracts and make sure that we're compliant. But you guys can take yourself to the market right now with so many platforms of prospecting and marketing. So here we go. I'm going to define the problem. Why should we be focusing on building Company A? Here's the stats, okay? We got 1.3 million realtors in North America. Guess how many homes sold last year? Anybody? Take a guess. Yeah, you're right. 5.1 million. 1.4 million realtors, 5.1 million sales. Crazy, right? We got 43,000 agents doing 25 or more. That's only 3.3% of us. Can you 6 stand up right here? Front row, please. Do me the honor of standing up. That means out of this room of 200, only this amount of people, come on, only this amount of people are doing more than 25 deals. Is that scary to anybody? If you're in the service industry for real estate agents, meaning are you a lender, you're a title rep, moving company, home warranty, please raise your hand. Okay, y'all, this should scare the shit out of you. Honestly. And by the way, if you're only doing 25 deals in our market, and let's use a $400,000 price point, that means you're making $250,000 a year before everything else, okay? The minimum base, if you'll agree with me, for a professional, and I'm talking doctor, attorney, lawyer, wouldn't you agree is about $250,000? So we've got to be doing, for us to be professionals, we've got to be doing at least 25 deals a year. I'm continuing to define the problem, okay? We have an 87% mortality rate for realtors, not death, but death of their business, over the first 4 years. 85% of agents have 0 previous sales or I'll call it persuasion skills. Okay, I want you to remember that word in 2019, persuasion. Am I persuasive? We call it the sphere of influence. Is our what? Database. Are you influential over your database? That's crazy. I got a database. They're my sphere of influence. Okay, most of us don't have a dedicated CRM. In fact, we'll talk about it later, but 97% of agents don't have a database. That's crazy. That means everybody else that didn't stand up doesn't have a current database that's being marketed to in a touch program routinely. 80% of agents only go for the close one time. Most of the time because they're fearful of rejection or they just don't know what the hell to say. 48% of agents only do one open house a month. That is crazy. What is your open house plan for 2019? Now would be a good time after you leave here to say, here are the dates that I'm going to do open houses in 2019. Put it on the calendar. If it's not on your calendar, it doesn't exist. Ultimately, 96% of small startups, as far as brokerages, fail within 10 years. So here's where there's some room for, here's consistency. Agents who do more than 5 hours of prospecting, that's 1 hour a day. Isn't that crazy? Make on average $200,000 a year. As far as conversion is concerned, those agents who do 5 touches versus 3 touches on a new lead have a 40% more, have a 40% conversion rate, higher. And as far as nurturing is concerned, take a look at this. This is a NAR statistic from last year. Only 24% of sellers use their selling agent to list. I mean, 76% failed. How many of you guys went on a listing appointment last week? Raise your hands, raise your hands, raise your hands. Okay, when you're pulling up that previous listing and you look at, don't you always look, who the hell sold them that house? Why aren't they calling them? Well, the stats say it. We're not doing a great job as an industry in following up. So, while you're digesting that, where's my clicker here? Let's talk. Have we defined the industry problem? Yes. Okay. So let's get personal. Take out that piece of paper. Let's start answering some questions. Right now, in December 2018, where's my clock, by the way? Okay, I got 20 minutes left. Lucky for you guys. That's a joke. It's okay to laugh. Okay. Are you focused on building company A or B? Write it down. Write it down. What have you been focused on, not only in this year, but in December? Number 2, what is your daily goal? Have you defined it? Number 3, what does your current pipeline look like? And grade it from 1 to 10. Don't worry, it gets better from here. Okay? Number 4, how many hours over the past month were spent working on Company A, and how many hours have you prospected? Number 5, I'm moving quick because I don't have a lot of time. How many face-to-face appointments with your database or referral partner? Anybody know what the number of listing referrals that went out last year according to NAR? Meaning, if I listed my house, where did I find my agent? You know what that percentage is? 51%. You know how many reused their agent? 23%. You know how many were new houses? 16%. By rough calculation, that leaves a pretty small number for all the other ways that we prospect, market, or lead generate. Would you agree? Say yes. Okay, great. So the reason I'm pointing that out is we need to be hounding on the face-to-face appointments. Referrals is where it's at. Number 6, how many touches went out last week? Meaning, how many postcards, how many social media posts, how many doors did you knock, how many outbound phone calls, how many lunches with your database, how many touches did you send out? You see, y'all, you have to have a number every day to have a predictable business. I know every day I'm going to go to work and 100 touches are going to go out between my 3 lead levers. And 100 touches is going to equal X amount of contacts. We've been fooled by the industry saying, contacts is a lead. Hell no, it's not a lead. It's not a lead until they tell you, yeah, I want to buy or sell within the next 6 months. Zillow leads are not leads, they're contacts. It's your job to nurture them. How many listing or buyer's appointments did you go on last week? And is that enough? And ultimately, how many contracts written or listings signed? So have we defined the industry problem, and by looking at these numbers for yourself, is there room for opportunity? Always, right? Always. So here we go. Webster's dictionary defines a CEO. They oversee the operation of the company or organization. They're responsible for coordinating effective marketing, financial, cultural, legal strategies to maximize value and revenue. I want to ask you the question, would you hire yourself back in 2018? And if not, today's the day. It's beautiful. We can change, okay? So let's talk about the workflow a little bit. Here's what it looks like. We saw before from 30,000 feet. This is close up. This is what it looks like every day for you. I'm spending 80% of my time sending out touches, nurturing contacts, converting them to leads through my persuasion, through my sales activities, through my skills, through my follow-up, and I'm setting appointments. Now, these people, these appointments, transfer into your company B when you've signed an agreement with them. Company B, listing, buyer contracts, closings, revenue for profit, okay? What do you notice about these 2 different companies? Raise your hand if you know what the disc profile is. Okay, I'm going to talk later about getting uncomfortable. The bottom line is if you're a DI, dude, you got to spend some time in this company building out your systems or writing them down. And if you're a SC, you got to spend some time in here working on your people skills. You got to get uncomfortable, okay? Because if you're not getting uncomfortable, you're not changing. The bottom line is one is a sales skills and building relationship company, and the other is an organization, management, and experience-based company, okay? We all good with that? Here's some more stats for you. I don't know why I'm throwing these out. 97% of all stats are made out on site, by the way. But this is important. Listen up, 77% of salespeople rely on their company for leads. 77% of salespeople, in general, not just in our industry, rely on their company for leads. So, is your company giving you leads? Are they, okay. Are they giving you the tool? If not, then the follow-up question is, are they giving you the tools to go and get leads? Okay. Then it's important that you recognize why you're not using them. And if they're not giving you leads and they're not giving you the tools, why the hell are you there? Okay, this is for all industry, not just real estate, right? Okay, so here's the bottom line. I want to open up a seafood restaurant. You said, I want to get into the real estate industry. This is my seafood restaurant. But before I can open up a seafood restaurant and be successful routinely, I've got to go build a commercial fishing company. Make sense? Okay, you guys getting the concept? Okay, cool. Moving right along. So here's a good illustration. Now, some of you may think, oh man, fail is a big word, but we've just talked about it. We've got an 87% mortality rate for real estate agents in the first 4 years. Only 3.3% of agents are doing more than 25 deals, which is the baseline minimum for professional. And 77% of salespeople are relying on their company to give them leads. It's time for you to start building your sales and prospecting and persuasion company. All right, so everybody take a deep breath. We have walked through the valley of the shadow of death. And now we're going to praise Reg. Everybody know who Reg is? He's the real estate god, of course. Reg. Nobody's ever heard of Reg before? Okay, I guess not. All right, so we're going to go to what I call Solution City, which looks like, we already talked about. If we're not making enough daily contacts in our industry, it's simple, we fail, okay? So here's the 5 elements of company A, succeeding, success, strategy. Mindset, knowledge, overcoming fear, organization, habits. Ultimately, I asked you earlier what your daily goal was. Remember that? So I think it's question 3. What is your daily prospecting goal so that you can build a robust pipeline that throws up on you? Right, Rich? Throws up on you. So, solution. Let's talk about it. Number 1, mindset. I think I'm going to finish on time, which is pretty impressive, I might say. So, we're going to talk about the difference. You've got the handout, hopefully by now, but it's amateur versus professional salesperson. I'm going to dive into that in a minute. The bottom line is, when I'm prospecting, when I have a full pipeline, when I'm lead generating, when I have appointments, guess what happens? Who's in control? I am. If we use that fishing vessel analogy, it's the same thing, guys. I come to work every day. I boot up my computer. I'm getting in that fishing vessel. The engine's on. I'm taking my boat out to sea. I'm at the office. And then I get there, and guess what? I'm out to sea, and I don't throw any lines out. I don't throw any fishing lines or nets or whatever it may be. Dynamite. I don't care. If I don't throw lines out every day, my restaurant business is going to fail because I'm not bringing in the bait. When I'm prospecting, I'm in control. When I say I'm going to have the best week ever, I'm setting myself up mentally for it. I'm talking about, and I'm also going to talk about information a minute, okay? Action versus information. Information, if it was just about information, and Rick talked a little bit about it, if it was just about information, I could give an alcoholic a pamphlet, they wouldn't drink anymore. I could give somebody with a struggling marriage a book on how to save their marriage, it would be saved. It's not about information. Get rid of that. You guys are here for the knowledge. You guys are here to take action. So when you leave here today, like the immediate thing that you should do is go back to your calendar and schedule about 6 hours. When I was in the Navy, we used to have safety stand-downs. Y'all might need a safety stand-down to say, hey, let's stop this and let's get back on the right path. Action versus information. Okay. Operating within comfort. Here's what I wrote down. Weakness is not the opposite of courage, but comfort is. okay? If you're comfortable, if you're not stretching yourself, if you're operating within that disc assessment personality, you're setting yourself up for failure and you're setting yourself up short, okay? All right, let's move on. I'm not going to go over all these with you. You guys have the worksheet here, and you can fill it out later. But the bottom line is, an amateur salesperson, they're rolling the dice every day. They're doing things when they feel like it. They're not taking they're not taking advantage of opportunities. They're not confident. There's no time block. There's no routine. They're leaving their day up to probability. They're hoping that the phone rings. They haven't done their homework. By the way, if you haven't done your homework and you're in coaching, you're not coachable. Get on board with it. Okay? For those of you there in coaching. There's no plan. They're not tracking their results. They have nothing of real value to offer. Marguerite said, where's Marguerite at? She said one of the most amazing things at the event in Las Vegas, which was brand only matters when you have nothing to offer. Remember saying that? Okay. They lack a unique or differentiated perspective, and ultimately these people can't self-generate leads. What we want you to get is to the professional mindset, where you're prospecting, where you're cold calling, even if you don't want to. What I will say is, if you are operating within your disc profiles, and you don't want to start this thing out with being too uncomfortable, do with what feels right. If you're a high D&I, pounding out calls every day is gonna roll you. So do pop-bys instead, okay? You get in front of people, you build relationships. Operate within your disc personality until you can break out of that comfort zone. They're seeking new business at seemingly all times. We have this cool thing called an iPhone these days. Everybody you meet, please, you guys, right now, go Facebook friend me if you haven't. But everybody you meet should be in your phone. You should be LinkedIning them. That's how you start to have influence over people, when you're posting your evidence of successes. Just listed, just sold within 10 days, sold at 110% over market price. Those are your value propositions. Okay? A professional salesperson maps out their plan of attack. They're tracking everything. They're calling people back within a 5-minute window. They understand that somebody's going to buy or sell, and it better be me. Okay? They understand the process. They're okay with rejection. And they take massive action every day. All right? You have that, so take that home with you. So here we go. That's solution 1. Solution 2. Let's jump in. I'm not rolling the dice every day. I'm committed to the 5-5-1-1-1. I'm going to give you this right here. You know we talked about earlier, 1 hour a day. Okay? This is your 1 hour routine every day. I make 5 new contacts. I follow up or nurture 5 leads. I do 1 social media post on LinkedIn, Facebook. I send out a card, a greeting card. I add to my database, and I set an appointment. Today is what, Thursday? All you guys should be thinking, and for my team, I'm writing this pretty hard. Everybody should be thinking, I come to work on Thursday. My goal has to be, who's in my appointment for next Thursday? I come to work on Friday. Who have I set an appointment with for next Friday? Your deal is, just because there's nobody in your calendar doesn't mean you get off of meeting with people. Who would you want to meet with first? A buyer or a seller, because they drive revenue. Who would you meet with next? If you came to work today, you said, hey, I cannot get a buyer or seller appointment for next week. Cool, go to your database. Who can you have lunch with? Next, go to your business or referral partners. Okay? There's somebody who will meet with you. You need to work on understanding it's the schedule. Okay? All right. I'm going to keep burning because I only got 7 more minutes. And I don't want them to play me off like the Academy Awards. All right. So if it's not on my schedule, it doesn't exist. We have theme prospecting days, which looks like, hey, on Monday, I'm going to call my top 25. Those of you who have been in core understand this. Top 25. On Tuesday, I'm going to call my current leads. On Wednesday, I'm going to call my corporate accounts. On Thursday, I'm going to go and door knock. On Friday, I'm going to call FSBOs and expireds. I'm going to call my B2B on Saturday, and I'm going to call my referral partners on Sunday. Whatever that looks like for you, you got to prep. It's so easy to just be like, I think I'll call 2 FSBOs today, 1 expired. I'll hit my database, and it'll be great. That's not the way it works. Ford doesn't go to work today and say, I think I'll make 4 Tauruses, and they're going to be white, and we'll ship them here or there. No. Dude, you come in and you go, you practice your script for half an hour. Here's how I'm going to call my expireds, and then you go to work at it. If you're not practicing, how successful do you think the baseball team that just shows up 5 minutes before it's throw off, and they're not going to be successful? Okay, 7 immediate touches for every lead. If there's one thing that you take away from this has got to be it. What could that look like? Immediate call, immediate text. Immediately I Facebook them. Immediately I link them in. Immediately I send an email. Immediately I pop by if they're a seller and drop off a packet. I add them to my CRM so they're getting dedicated now, dripped on. Or I could send them a gift. Those are things that you could do immediately because we all know that it takes 7 times on average for a lead to be touched by us before they'll even want to talk to us. All right, so we got to be using a lead tracker as well. And then on a daily basis, we're role-playing objections. We have a power hour dedicated in our calendar. We're previewing homes so that we know the market. We'll talk about that in a minute. The opportunity here for you guys, and here's the second thing I want you to leave with today is, who are the 30 people that will change your business in 2019? You don't know them yet. Seriously, you don't know them yet. They're called haven't mets. And you need to spend some time writing down, who the hell do I want to meet next year that will change the course of my business? Is it the top financial planner in town? Is it Brent Gove? Is it the top lender? I don't know who it is. You guys need to define it for yourself. Is it a whale? Is it the HR person at HP? Is it a CEO of X company? I don't know. You need to define it and go out and prospect those people. All right. Here we go. Second part. We talked about it early. 97% of agents have no database or CRM. If you don't have a design for your day, drama will creep in. You got to know the who you're calling, what you're going to say, when you're going to say it, and why you're calling. And it better be you're calling because you're coming from contribution, not because you want something. Okay? We got to minimize the distraction and focus. We got to get calendared. No procrastination, no urgency if it's not in your calendar. You have to identify the 3 pillars of concentration and focus on mastering them. Ultimately, you're in control of your business when you're dedicating time to the prospecting and pillars. What does organization come before goals mean? It means cause and effect. If the effect is, I want to make money, the cause has to be, I got to go on listing appointments. If the effect is, I went to a listing appointment, the cause has to be, I'm prospecting for listing appointments. Okay? Organization, cause and effect. Okay, solution 4, overcoming fear. We got to get uncomfortable ASAP. You got to fail 10 times, 100 times faster because failure is the way that we learn, guys. If you're scared of failure, go get a counselor right now. Failure is okay. You're a kid, you're walking, boom, head hits. Okay, I guess I won't do that again. It's the same thing in this industry. Rejection happens. This is a Tom Ferry deal, but here's what it looks like. 6 moves of rejection. Number 1, I can't handle objections, so I get rejected. That leads to me feeling bad, which leads to me performing bad, which leads to no money, which leads to I can't eat, which leads to I die. Understand this cycle and overcome it, okay? Next. 2 minutes, 30 seconds. Are you excited about overcoming objections? You should be, because this means you're getting one step closer to what? The close, the sell, the product, whatever it is. What is your tone, dialect, expression? You should be standing up. You should be boisterous. You shouldn't be saying, I think I'm the right person for the job, or no, I am the right person for the job. Get confident. Tonality, dialect. All right, here's some keys for you as you move into agreements and transition phases. You got to get good at these. You shouldn't be but versus and. Well, you're really pretty, but. Right? No buts. Get rid of the buts. It's always about and. There's also 2 others that aren't on here. Stop telling people. When somebody, as a high D, when somebody says, I told you, Or let me tell you something. You know what my mind immediately does? Shuts them down. So instead of saying that, say share. Let me share something with you. You'll rarely ever hear me say, for those who know me, let me tell you something. Okay? The next is know versus think. As a sales professional, here's what we know, not here's what we think. Do you understand what I'm saying? I think your house will I think your house will sell in 8. No, I know your house will sell in 30 days because my marketing plan is so robust, it's going to get so much exposure that it will sell. Okay? A couple of the others that are on here. Are we on the same page? After reviewing the comparables, are we on the same page in regards to value? I can appreciate it. I can appreciate that. Can I offer a few more solutions? Or, Barry, do you want to do more business next year? What if I could help you with that? Okay, awesome. Has there ever been a time when, could this time be like last time? Expired listing. Has there ever been a time when you've had a house sit on the market for a long period of time? I got 35 seconds left, so I'm moving right along. Let's move forward and do the right thing. Sign the contract. Let's do the right thing and meet. Okay, I got 3 slides left. Okay, so here we go. If you can handle or know what to say, you will call or visit anybody. If you know how to handle the objections, you will want to call. Because you understand it doesn't make, knowing what to say doesn't make you, knowing what to say makes you the expert, not understanding what to say. How about that? 2 more slides, and I'll be out of here, okay? Just say okay. Okay, cool. All right, so number 5, knowledge. Here's the bottom line. We're using scripts to internalize. We're working on ourselves in 2019, what we're listening to, what we're watching, who we're coaching with. We understand information versus knowledge, and we're striving for knowledge, not just and experience, not just information. Analysis for contribution and longevity. What does this mean? People don't pay you for the information anymore. They can go online and find out everything about a property. They're paying you for your analysis. If you're not committed to understanding the market, how possibly could you give a great analysis to your clients? So let's talk about it for a minute. What's the market doing? And I'm not going to ask the question because we're out of time here and I don't want to cut out anybody else. But basically, here's what rates today. 20-year, 4.63. Long-term average, 8.08. As of January 3rd this year, they were 3.95%. New listings today on the market, 118. Average back on market today, 38. Reductions, 83. Pendings, 165. 159 solds, and 106 were withdrawn or canceled. We got to know those hot sheet numbers every day. Last slide, guys. Here we go. Crushing 2019. You got to get in massive action. This means your face-to-face appointments, your break breads, meaning having a cocktail with people. Breakfast, buy me a cocktail. Having great phone calls, going to networking events, sending out greeting cards. We got to get in massive accountability with the 5-5-1-1-1, 1 hour a day. Theme days for prospecting. Join 2 networking groups of things that you're passionate about. Add to your database every day, including the haven't mets of people that you want to get to meet. Establish a start time and end time. Make that list of 30 influencers that will change your life in 2019 and ultimately implement a business-to-business referral program because that's where most of our business is right now. Even below the age of 37, believe it or not, you would think that those people are internet-based. They're not. They're using the mentors to get referrals. Okay, I want you to know this. You are not a statistic. Go out and crush 2019. If you need absolutely anything from me, call us, email us. We'd be happy to meet with you, help you out, whatever it takes. Okay? We're all here to build the industry, right? Okay, Merry Christmas. Thanks, brother.
Okay, fantastic. One more time for Mr. Sean Work. Who here knows what the DISC assessment is? Who here does not know? If that sounded like Spanish to you, check it out. The DISC profile is important, especially for hiring. Myers-Briggs is better, in my opinion, for understanding yourself. Understand your instrument. Honor your design. He talked about knowing the ways in which you lack. Know the ways in which you lack so that you could hire to accommodate your deficiencies. Become proficient in the ways that you're deficient. Don't overcompensate for them. In the Marine Corps, and I write about this in my book, The Machine Gunner's Guide to Real Estate Accuracy by Volume, Not everybody knows how to swim, but you just have to float in water long enough till somebody can come along and save you. You don't have to be great in every way. I have Asperger's. I'm on the autism spectrum. My executive function is very low. I am not organized. So I have to hire people who are organized. And they help me get paid. I was spending $28,000 a month in my profit and loss, which I had not run. $28,000 a month, which means that I had to close 2 to 3 transactions a month just to break even. That's important to know. It's important to track these things. Guys like this, like Sean Work, that are numbers guys, that's important to know. That was fantastic. The next person that I'm going to bring up to you guys today, I first met in Scottsdale with her and her husband, Joe, and we spent some time poolside. Thank you, Brent Gove. Spent some time poolside, and I got to know Marguerite. And Marguerite is like an untapped resource that you guys have right here, in that she speaks so intelligently, so eloquently, and she is pure fire. You never have to guess what's on Marguerite's mind. And you guys will find that out just like them during the Q&A. So I'd like to welcome Marguerite Crispio to the stage, who has closed over 3,000 transactions.
All right, how's everybody doing? Good. Well, I've got a couple tough acts to follow. Holy cow, I adore Rick Jiha. I can't even tell you anymore. One of the most amazing people that I've ever met. And of course, Sean did an amazing job today. And he took all my time, so I'm done. No, I'm kidding. I just had to tease him. No, he's awesome. But wow, what a turnout today. Like, I had no idea we were going to have this many people here. I guess all of you guys are supposed to be out Christmas shopping, and this is the way to avoid it? Is that how that works? Well, I really appreciate you guys taking the time to be here. You know, I feel very honored to speak in front of this room because we have some really incredible people here. And, you know, I got into real estate back in 1993. Actually, on Sunday, it will be my 25th anniversary being in real estate, yeah. And I was laughing when Rick was talking about his kids, because Joe and I have 6 children, and our middle son, Philip Crispillo, is here today, back there, who for years I kept saying, okay, who's going to get in real estate? And all of them were like, not doing it. Have no interest in being in real estate because they saw our crazy schedule. And I finally talked Philip into being a home inspector now. So he works with CalPro Home Inspections. Thank you guys so much for being here today. But let's, you know, Sean talked a lot about a lot of different things in lead generation and what to do. And I find it crazy that as an industry, well, let me back up a moment. So one of the biggest problems is notoriously real estate has attracted people who don't want to work. Right? Would you agree? Like, for many of us, the reason we got into real estate is because we bought or sold a home. We saw the agent put a sign in the yard and said, well, they didn't do anything. And look at that commission they got. And we thought, well, we can get in here, we can work part-time, we can sell a few houses a year, make some extra money, and we won't really have to work because it's not that hard. We just put a sign in the yard and sell real estate, right? Like, did any of you honestly, if you're really telling the truth, is that how you got into real estate? Right? So it's very different. I know for me, I got into real estate because my husband was in the mortgage business, and interest rates had dropped to an all-time low of 8%. Anybody remember those days? And we thought they were never going to get any lower, right? And so I decided I was going to do loans for about a year and do refis. And so I started doing loans, and interest rates rose, and I hated doing loans. So God bless all you lenders here in the office. In this room. How many lenders do we have here? Awesome. Thank you, guys, because your job sucks. I'm going to be honest. Like, with all due respect, I don't want to do your job. So I did loans for about a year, and then I said, I'm not going to do loans anymore. We were expecting our 3rd son, Jonathan, and I've decided to go work part-time as an assistant for Luigi. Where's Luigi? There's my friend Luigi. So I went to work for Luigi, and he might kill me for this, but you'd go into his office, and it was chaos. Anybody else an ADD type person in here? His office was chaos. He was trying to figure out We'd just gotten computers in real estate, so he wanted me to set up his top producer program back in the day. And I learned how to do top producer, learned technology, and I used to ride around with Luigi. And what kind of car did you have, Luigi? It was a big old Lincoln Town car. And we'd cruise around town, and he would give me all of his wisdom while we were cruising around. I ended up selling 18 houses in my first 6 months and thought, I think I like this deal, right? It worked out. So I started selling real estate, and I want to take you guys on a little bit of a journey. So this is Mark and Diana, and I got this email last year, and it said, "Hey, Marguerite, you were our realtor when we bought our home in Penryn about 17 years ago. Wow, how time flies. I continue to think about you every month because of those damn annoying newsletters. Don't stop sending them. I read every one. Well, life is what it is, and it's time to sell my mom's house. Are you interested?" I think I'm interested. I think I'm all right. It ended up that the house was in Loomis. It was listed, we listed it for $960,000. We did a neighbors meet and greet and open houses that weekend and double-ended it. To the tune of $60,000 in commissions. I was wrong, it was $980,000. $60,000 in commissions from a newsletter that I'd been sending out for 17 years. Anyone want to do the math? What was the return on investment? I don't know, $1 a month for 17 years. I suck at math, but I think that return on investment was pretty good. What do you think, right? So here's the reality, you guys, is you don't necessarily need more leads. Like, we're all caught up in this thing that we need massive amounts of leads. We want hundreds and hundreds of leads. We're mad at our brokers because they're not providing leads. We're upset because somebody was supposed to help us do this and do that and do that. The reality is, if I dropped into your office today and dropped 100 leads on your desk, most of you would burn through all of them and do nothing with them. Any of you have leads that you haven't called? Any of you have a lot of leads you haven't called? Right? And, you know, it's so funny when I hear agents complain, they go, "Oh, agents don't return their calls." And how many of you have any of you tried to call yourself and you didn't even answer your phone? Like, we're also critical and judgmental, right? The reality is we don't need more leads. What we need to do is take care of the people that are right in front of us. And we're not even doing that. How many of you does this picture look familiar? I'm trying to add more friends. And you got all these people waiting behind you who want to be your friends, and you're not paying attention to them. You know, Rick talked a lot this morning about really being present and being in the moment. And a big part of what we do is important to be present. I can't tell you how many times I've seen people who have had people around them raise their hand that want to buy or sell, and they're like, "Oh, wait, I got to go check out my internet leads. Hold on, I got a Zillow call. Just a minute, I'm figuring out my Facebook page, and I'm trying to get my website set up." Instead of taking care of the people that are right in front of you. Just for the record, websites are dead. For the most part. People don't go to websites anymore. Hardly any at all. If anything, they go to landing pages or things like that, or they're reaching out on Facebook. They're reaching out in social media. They're looking for the people that are right in front of them. More people are interested in a referral than getting a call from somebody who logged into Zillow. That's who they want to get information from. So are you spending more time looking at FaceTime instead of looking at the faces in front of you? That's the real problem, is it not? So why do you think we do that? What is that about? Is it easier to reach out to cold, disconnected people? Or are we all sitting around in the office waiting for the phone to ring? Well, you guys, I don't know about you, but I've been, as I mentioned, 25 years in real estate. I've been through every kind of market you can imagine. I've been through great markets, like we've recently had. I've been through not so great markets. I've been through bad markets and really, really, really sucky markets. I've been through all of them. And the one thing that does not change and that is consistent is we are in a relationship business. People want your help. They want your input. You know, it's funny because I hear people talking about how all this technology, we're all so fascinated by technology and how it's going to take over the real estate industry. And I'm going to disagree. I don't care what kind of technology you got. I don't think it's going to take over. Because ironically, we're in a world that is so connected, but we're really craving a connection. If you think companies, I don't want to throw any names out there, but let's say Zillow or Redfin or some of these technology companies that are claiming they're going to eliminate the real estate agent. How many of you have gotten that panicked call from a seller on a Friday night that the plumbing broke and they don't know what to do? How many of you got that panicked call late on a Saturday from a buyer who's freaked out about the home inspection and is not sure that they should buy that house? How many of you have had somebody see the interest rate on there and they're confused by how it works and they're sure that they can get a quarter of a point better if they just go online? And how many of you, as human beings, talk them through it? Right? That's the part that they cannot digitize. That's the part that technology cannot take over. It's those eyeballs in the situation. It's that heart-to-heart conversation to help people resolve problems and deal with solutions. How many of you have had that situation where you're having a problem with your computer, so you call up the 800 number and it says, for more faster service, please log on to our website. You're like, if I could get on your website, I wouldn't be on the phone. I just want to talk to a human. How many of you have gotten into the endless voicemail circle and you're just pressing 0 saying, please get me a human voice I can talk to? Anyone have that happen? So does that make you believe that technology is probably not going to take over our business? We are a relationship business first and foremost. Now, there are two types of agents. And I had this happen last year. I was training a couple of agents, and I'll call them Agent A and Agent B. And Agent A came to me and said, hey, I need to, actually, I'll back it up. We're going to call Agent B. He said, I want to make sure I know every single thing there is about real estate. I want to know how to write a contract. I want to know exactly what to say. I want to know every possible problem that could ever go wrong. I want to know every situation before I ever go sell real estate. Agent A walked in to me one day and says, I have a client, now what? 90 days later, the one who said, I have a client, now what, had closed 3 transactions. 1 year later, the other one had not closed a thing. So it's amazing to me that many of us think we have to have it all figured out first. You know, I kind of describe it like riding a bicycle. So you decide that you want to learn how to ride a bike. You say, okay, great. I'm going to show you how it works. I'm going to show you videos on how to ride a bike. I'm going to show you how to take the bike apart, put it back together. I'm going to show you the manual on how everything works. And guess what? You're going to know how to ride a bike. And then what happens when you get on the bike? You either crash, you get on there and you kind of wobble, and next thing you know, like our 5-year-old Jordan did, he hopped on the bike and he was kind of wobbling and he went smack into the back of a car, right? Or you soar. But if you don't ever get on the bike, it won't matter. If you don't ever reach out and take the time to get connected with people and talk to people and support them, it won't matter. You will struggle in this business forever. And here is my favorite quote of all time. I think I created it. I might have stolen it. I'm not sure. But here's the truth, you guys. You get paid in direct proportion to your ability to figure stuff out. Let me say that to you again. You get paid in direct proportion to your ability to figure stuff out. So if you are sitting around waiting for someone to show you what to do and how to do it, you're sitting around waiting for someone to drop leads and clients on your desk. You're sitting around thinking, oh, the market's going to change, or no, we're okay. If you're not paying attention to what is going on in the current market, guess what? You're probably going to be out of business. For any of us who've been around a long time, we've had to figure out a lot of different markets. Have we not, Mr. Cersei? 40 years in the business. Just received the Emeritus Award for being 40 years in the real estate business. Give him a hand. But you get paid in direct proportion to your ability to figure stuff out. So what are you doing on a daily basis, like Sean talked about earlier, to figure out what to do? Or are you waiting for somebody to give you direction on how to do it? Well, let me tell you about Linda Buckmaster. Many of you have probably heard about her. She's a little bit famous in my circle now. That's me on the right after getting thrown in the pool. That's Linda. Linda I met in 1997. I'd been in real estate just a couple years. She bought a $50,000 HUD home from me. Anybody remember the days where you could buy a HUD home for $500 down, right? $50,000 HUD home. Linda has since bought and sold 7 homes through me. Over 22 years now, 21 years. She has referred 9 people to me. And I'm going to tell you the rest of the story in a moment. But she has referred 9 people over those years. And you're going to see what that equates to in a minute. So how do you get here? What does it take to start from right now as a brand new agent to 25 years later and over 3,000 sales? What does that take? Well, I can tell you that first and foremost, it takes consistency. It's doing the same thing over and over and over again. And when you're looking at your business plan, what Sean will tell you from what he did is that there are 3 key areas of marketing. There is advertising, there are business connections to generate business, and there is your database, your sphere of influence, the people that know you, love you, and trust you. Now, I want you guys to pay attention to those numbers down there. Those are called conversion rates. And if you're paying attention to your numbers, you will know that these are relatively accurate from years and years of watching and coaching people. For every 100 internet leads you get, or advertising leads, not just internet, you will close 1 piece of business. And people say, oh, I have a higher conversion rate. Maybe you do, but you're probably not actually tracking accurately where your business is coming from. I love it when I hear people say, oh, I just did those, like banner ads on the park bench. $5,000 I spent on it. And I said, okay, was it worth it? Like, oh, yeah. I go, did you get any deals from it? Well, I'm not sure, but everybody sees my name. So are you even tracking where your business is coming from? I can guarantee for any of you, if you're not paying attention, like Sean was saying, about tracking your business, you're crazy. You need to know exactly where your business is coming from at all times. And if that money is actually working for you. Is it really working? So when you look at business connections, these are people like your affiliates, your lenders, your heat and air guy, your plumber, maybe your carpet person, your CPA, your bookkeeper, your financial advisors. The conversion rate is typically 10 to 1. Now here's the best part. Can anyone see the conversion rate on your database? What is it? 3 to 1. For every 3 people from your database, 1 will do business with you. I like those odds. How about you? Are those better odds? So why are we spending so much time, energy, and resources advertising? What's the reason for that? And I hear people say, oh, well, I don't like to do business with family and friends. Are you kidding me? I'll tell you why you don't like doing business with family and friends, because you're not showing up as a pro. I know. My license plate says no filter, y'all, so I'm going to tell it like it is. So you are not showing up like a pro. So let me tell you what I did to my brother. Too bad he's not in the room. Somebody, I'm sure, will send this to him. My brother wanted to buy a house, and he was a lender at the time, so he's like, oh, I know how this works. I said, okay, that's cool. I said, bring your wife Charlotte in. We're going to sit down and go over the process. Oh, I don't need to do that. So men, we love you, but how good are you at communicating to your spouses when we give you information? You're so good. Isn't it so funny? My husband goes and does something, and he comes back, and I go, okay, so what'd they say? He goes, I don't know. Did you ask him this? No. Did you ask him that question? No. What did you talk about? I don't know. Right? Anybody have that conversation? We've been together almost 33 years. Thank you, Joe. I love you very much. And so the reality is I made my brother and his wife come in and sit down. I did a buyer presentation to explain to them the process and how it works. And I love when people say, oh, I don't do buyer presentations. Nobody's going to want to sit down and do that. So I'm curious, how many of you guys take a listing without doing a listing presentation and getting a contract? Any of you? No? You don't? Why? What? So all of you, when you take a listing, you make sure to sit down with them, go over the process, have them sign a contract, right? Do you know why you do that and you don't do it for the buyers? Because somebody told you to. That's the only reason. Your broker said, don't walk into this office without a listing agreement. And you said, okay. You don't do that with buyers. So how many of you think that buyers might be a little bit confused by our process and how we do things? Just a tad? Do you think all buyers know how we even get paid? They don't even know. Do buyers, people go, oh, well, but they go on the internet. I've had people who get a lead in front of them and they say, hey, go to my website and search for this. You're like, are you crazy? So the reality is are you taking the time to sit down and educate your clients, help them understand? Are you doing it with your family and friends? They're the most important people in your life, are they not? Do they not deserve the very best of you? The most professional person ever who sits down and helps them understand the process, do they not deserve that? So if you are making your plan for next year, I hope that you are all doing a buyer presentation. If you don't have one, email me. I will send you mine. No charge, no obligation. Feel free. I'll be happy to share it with you. Okay? And so the truth is, for many of us, we have become firefighters instead of fire prevention specialists. We are out there just putting out fires. Our day consists of, oh, they got a question. Dang it, I got to answer that. Oh, here's a problem. I got to deal with that. We're these firefighters constantly putting business out and fires out, and we're not being proactive or explaining how things work. Because you guys, here's how trust works. If I explain something to you up front and it happens, you go, oh yeah, Marguerite warned me about that. If I don't explain something and something comes up, what starts to go through your mind? What else didn't you tell me? Why didn't you tell me that? Aren't you the pro? Why do you think that doctors tell you all the things that could go wrong before you go into surgery? Because at the end, you're like, am I going to die? Right? And then when you come out of surgery, you're like, oh, it's a good day. They prepare you for everything that could possibly go wrong and the stuff that could go right. So are you doing that now? Are you helping your people understand the process? You guys, that's where the value is. People don't need us anymore to show them homes. The old days of riding around in Luigi's Lincoln Continental and showing people property, I think he still has that car. Do you still have that car, Luigi? And the thing is the days of people coming to us and we found the properties and we drive them around, those days are gone. Where is our value now? Our value now is up here. It's in our knowledge, our education. It's of guiding them through the process. It's helping them connect and understand what's going to happen. Our real estate transactions are more complicated than they ever were. To date myself again, when I worked with Luigi, our contracts were 4 pages long. We did no inspections back then. I think the 4th page was a blank page so you could write in all the terms of the contract, right? It was 4 pages thick. It was the old NCR paper. We had to have original signatures. We had to drive them around, deliver them to our lender. Like, you guys have it made. And I can't believe you complain. And here's the irony. When you get down to the closing table, and if you guys are not attending your signings right now, you better not tell me that because I'll be all over you. The most important time in a transaction is at the closing table. People are spending more money than they've ever spent in their life, for most people. It's the biggest financial decision they will make. And oh, you were too busy to show up at the signing. What is the second biggest number on the closing statement behind the loan balance? Commissions. So when they see that big old number and they go, oh, all she did was put a sign in the yard, right? And I had somebody say that. We were in an appointment the other day, and this kid, these people, their son was in the room. He goes, man, I should get in real estate. You guys have it easy. And you know what my response was? Masters make things look easy. How many of you think you can golf? But doesn't Tiger Woods make it look pretty easy? Like, that guy's a pro. He's a master. How many years of practice did he put in? How much time and energy did he put in to master his craft? And so my question to you is, how much time and energy are you guys putting in to master your craft? The fact that you're here today puts you in the top 0.0001% of the real estate industry. That you're taking time to be here and listen to speakers and learn about how you can improve your business puts you in that top percentage. Most agents don't bother. So how proactive are you being to your business? Now I'm going to run out of time too, so I'm taking over. Who's next? Tom's time. No, I'm not kidding. Here's the reality. The fortune is in the follow-up. Both of them addressed it earlier, that how many people had gone on a listing appointment and wondered who sold them the house before and why they weren't there. If you guys do not have a database, it's the most valuable thing you own, and you're crazy not to have one. And if I hear one person say, which CRM do I use, I'm going to pull out my whip. It doesn't matter which one you use. Just use one. Put your information somewhere, right? So here's the problem. We're all trying to complicate things instead of keeping it simple. This industry is not that difficult. I am not any smarter than any of you here in the room. The only difference is I actually acted on things and did the work. When people talk about closing 3,000 deals, it sounds really glamorous. What they don't talk about is the 20,000 homes I probably showed, is the countless transactions I lost, the amount of times I failed and lost everything, the amount of times I was up until 2 a.m. trying to figure out how to do things, the amount of times that during the worst market in history, I was doing BPOs till my eyes bled. And people said, well, I'm not going to do that for $50. I was like, girl, that's milk money for my kids. You can ask my son Philip how much time and energy we put into BPOs, driving all day long, taking pictures, inspecting properties, inputting at all hours of the night. Because I had to do what I had to do when the market shifted. You guys have a choice right now. We're going to lose probably a third of our industry over the next few years. Will it be you? Or will you adjust and adapt? So here's a few simple things that I've done. I send a little letter of the heart, a little story about me and my life. It's not complicated. It's not a bunch of statistics. It's not a 14-page newsletter. I've tried that and failed. It's not a bunch of stuff about real estate, because these people know that I'm in real estate. I've worked with them and stayed connected to them my whole career. It's a little letter about me and my life. As I mentioned, we have 6 kids. I got stories for days. Not all of them like the stories that are in my newsletters. However, I send this out every single month. These are the Heinemans. I met these people in 2002. She had a little baby bump up there. She was pregnant with her first child. All those years later, 12 years, they finally showed up at one of my client events with 4 children. Said, hey, Marguerite, that 3-bedroom, 1-bath is not cutting it anymore. It's time for us to move up. $22,000 in commissions. How about that? Have you been holding client events? People get all whacked out about it. Oh, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. I don't know how to handle it. There's lots of different events you can do. In fact, this is Ernestine Wilson. She saw me say this at an event. She left that day, went through her little bag of gift cards. Any of you guys have that? Bags that you've received gift cards? Found one that a lender had given her for $200 to Ruth Chris. She called up 4 of her girlfriends and said, hey, do you guys want to go to happy hour on Friday? Those 4 showed up to happy hour. Actually, it was 6 people. 4 of them referred her people over $40,000 in commissions. How many of you are not doing that right now? Or she could have spent $200 on a Zillow ad, which would be more effective, right? How many of you are creating wow moments? How many of you are making the real estate experience extraordinary? It's not that hard to be average in this business. It's not even any harder to be a little bit better than average and make it an extraordinary experience for people. So are you doing that now? What are little things where you could communicate, stay in contact, reach out to them, get to know what's important to them? How many of you are paying attention to those little tiny details? Some pretty powerful stuff, right? Here's the truth. You could either go out and get on this vicious cycle and be constantly trying to get new business, or you could do an extraordinary job of taking care of the people right in front of you and get all the business that you want and need. It's there and available for you. So what does actually building a lifetime business look like? And if you do it right, you will reap the rewards. So let's talk about Linda Buckmaster. This is Linda. Remember I told you she sold 7 homes with me? Those 9 people turned into 65 people. She referred people who referred people who referred people who referred people. Is that an MLM or a pyramid scheme? Is that what that is? I'm just curious. 65 referrals has generated over $300,000 in commissions. If you break that out by the 2,100 people that are in my database is worth over $10 million. This is not exaggerating, people. It's worth it. So how many of you are paying attention to your database? How many of you are putting the time and energy in to take care of the people that are right in front of you? You can do it starting today. Today. And then you too can be standing up here 25 years later talking about how you built a $10 million database. I didn't do anything special or anything different. I just did the same thing over and over again, and I took great care of people. So I hope that what you guys will do today is, number one, open up your database if you haven't. Make phone calls, connect with people. Just call to say hello, not because you want something or need something. This is the time of year where you could just call and say, hey, how are you, Vince? What's going on in your life? What's new with you? What can I do to help you? We're craving a connection, people, including yourself. What are you doing to change the way you do business today? That is all I have.
Thank you very much. Okay, so one more time for Marguerite Crispio. Fantastic. I told you fire, right? Fire. A couple of times it felt like she was just really calling me out. I don't attend any of my signings. Grab your whip, Marguerite. Woo! All right, here we go. One thing here. Who here has gotten an actionable takeaway here today? An actionable takeaway. Okay, great. If not now, when? If not now, when? When will you implement this in your business? If not now, when? Be present. Be a little bit more zen. And then you won't have to write out your 5-year goals because you'll be taking care of what you need to take care of when the time comes up. The best chess player that ever lived had over 30 chess matches going at once against other chess champions. He beat all of these different chess champions not by thinking 20 moves in advance, not by thinking 30 moves in advance, but by thinking about the next best move, one move at a time. We know what we need to do. A lot of times we just aren't doing it. Somebody that I can imagine probably doesn't have that problem a whole heck of a lot is our next speaker. You don't get to be number 1 at Keller Williams for 7 years on accident. I'm excited to sit back and watch Tom Daves talk about how he and his team have sold over 7,000 homes, making him the number 1 agent at Keller Williams for 7 years. You think that this guy might have some information to pass on? Tom Daves, everybody.
If you had one day to live, what would you do? Just think about that just for a minute. One day. So we start, and I start my goals, and think about that, because I went to a great coaching seminar years ago, and the teacher started with that. If you have one day left to live, what would you do? Who would you spend time with? What would your priorities be? And what would your life look like? Well, you know what's really the truth of the matter is our lives shouldn't really be all that different, and our perspectives and our priorities shouldn't be really all that different right now, correct? You know, of course, we think about our big why, our family. Who would we spend time? My why is spend time with my God, my family, my health, my organization, my community. So we think about our big why, right? And so a great quote is to live each day like it's your last day, right? I mean, leave it all on the field, right? Live each day to the fullest. And so I know we're talking about real estate. This is a business clinic today, but we have to keep those things in mind, and we have to look at things from a 30,000-foot level. So as far as business, if there were 3 things that I could tell you that would determine your success, do you think those 3 things would be important? Yeah, I think so. Okay, so these are going to be my 3 talking points. So number 1 is the way that you think and your mindset. That's number 1. It's the way you think and your mindset. And then number 2 is how you manage your time. And how disciplined are you? How do you manage your time? And then number 3 is who do you spend your time with? Who are you around? That's number 3. So the first is our mindset and the way that we think. And I'm constantly trying to grow my mindset, think bigger and outside of the box, and then think bigger than that, right? And we've heard these things. So mindset is, and cultivating a growth mindset will improve your ability to succeed. It will improve your ability to communicate, to motivate. It will help your productivity. You know, it affects how you lead, how you manage, and how you show up, right? So, and that's why we're all here today, right? I mean, we all want to improve. We want to grow. We want to get better. We want to crush it next year and deliver exceptional results and help others, right? So, one of my friends, I used to be his mentor, but now he's my mentor. Tyler, one of my mentors is Tyler Smith. You guys know Tyler Smith? He runs SkySlope. You guys heard of SkySlope, right? Okay, so, well, he gave me a book about a year ago. If any of you guys have heard of Jesse Itzler. So this is Living with a Seal for 31 Days. It's Jesse Itzler. So Jesse Itzler is, now he's a billionaire. He was an athlete that would run ultramarathons, and he was at an ultramarathon event, and he was doing the relay version of a 24-hour event, and there was this amazing, chiseled athlete that was doing the 24-hour event. His name is David Goggins. He was a Navy SEAL. And so Jesse Itzler went up to him at the end of the event, and he said, "Will you come and coach me and train me? I want to get better." And David Goggins said, "No way. No, you're not tough enough. You're not strong enough. Not going to coach you, not going to train you." He's like, "I'll do anything. What can I do?" And he said, "The only way I'm going to do it is if I come and live with you for 31 days and you do exactly what I say." He says, "Okay, I'll do it." So Jesse Itzler is married. His wife's name is Sarah Blakely. Anyone ever, you ladies, heard of Spanx? Yeah, that's his wife. She was the youngest billionaire female, right? So they go to his house, And the first day, they wake up at 4 a.m., and David says to Jesse, okay, we're going to get up, we're going to run 10K. So they go out, and it's like it's cold. They're in Manhattan. I mean, it was in the winter, it was cold. We're going to run, we're going to do it. So they got out, they did a 10K, and they said, let's go to the gym. They went to the gym, and he said, give me 100 pull-ups. I don't know about you, but I'm not going to do, I could do 6, maybe, right? So the same way with Jesse. He said, I can't do 100 pull-ups. He said, well, we're going to be here a long day, aren't we? So he did. It took him about 8 hours to do 100 pull-ups. He started off with 8, then he did, 5, and then he got down to 1. So the whole theme of this is there's more in our reserve tank than we really know. So for all of us and for myself, there's more in our reserve tank. When you think you're done, you're only 50% there. There's still more left. So, and then one of the things that, actually Tyler Smith, I texted him this morning, and I said, hey, are you going to be around Roseville or Rockland? Why don't you come by? I'm going to drop your name. And he said, I just happen to be in South Africa right now with my family for Christmas, right? So I think he's doing okay. But one of the things that, one of the classes that I'm attending is by Jesse Itzler, and it's about your life resume. And we think about our life resume, and there's 7 things that actually made a difference for Jesse and that are making a difference in my life. So the first thing is you have to really, really want it. You can't just say that you want it. You have to really, really want it and have a big why. And then number 2 is we have to respect the process. No matter what we're doing, whether it's business, life, we have to really respect the process because things take time. I do the death ride every year. It's a big ride that Don Yoakum got me started in. It's up in Lake Tahoe area, and it's 129 miles, 16,000 feet of climbing, go over 5 different mountain passes. So when you're training for that, you're not really respecting the process. You're like, oh my gosh, this is tough. But if you think about success, the best goal that I've found is that the best definition is success is the pursuit of a worthwhile goal. And I'm sure you've heard that. And even Cervantes wrote, clear back in the 1500s, the road is better than the inn. We're actually at our best when we're serving, when we're climbing, when we're thinking, when we're working on that road to something that we really want and that's really significant. So we're actually at our best. So as far as me, I'm never retiring. 63 years old now, love what I do, love serving, and that's when we're really at our best. So respect the process. Number 3 is make yourself proud. Strive to be the very best version of you. Do something every day that makes you proud. You don't want to hit your head on the pillow at night and say, oh, I just gave my 80% today. You want to give 110%. Now, this is where the real fire starts to happen, is number 4, how you do anything is how you do everything. The small things that you do are indications of what you're becoming. So what I took from that is, when you're walking by some litter, pick it up. When you're with someone, give them your undivided attention. When, you help a lady cross the street, whatever, always make sure that you do the right thing. And Henry Longfellow says, it takes less time to do something right than to explain how you did it wrong, right? You guys heard that one? Okay, here we go. Number 5 is build the machine. Think of yourself, he says, think of yourself as a machine. Your mind, your body, it's no longer a mind and it's no longer a body, it's a machine. When you're working out, I'm building my muscle machine. When you're walking the lady across the street. You're building your serving machine. When you're in traffic and you're pretty on Highway 65, right? You're building your patience machine, right? So, and then also, one of the things to say is the machine is getting stronger. This morning I was doing repeats on my bike, lived near a hill. I was just saying the machine is getting stronger. The machine is getting stronger. Number 6 is remember tomorrow. When you have a split decision to make, remember tomorrow. The decisions that you make today will definitely affect what happens in your life tomorrow. So if you don't do your morning, I have a morning routine that I do every morning. Get up, read the Bible, pray, journal, work out. How will I feel tomorrow? How will I feel tomorrow if I don't do that? If I don't make my calls today, how will I feel tomorrow? If I eat and drink too much tonight, right? How am I going to feel tomorrow? So it's just, how will you feel tomorrow? And then number 7 is, and this is fun, flip it to excitement. So instead of I have to, I get to. When I take out the trash, how do I make it fun? When I'm sending emails, how do I make it more fun? How do I flip it to excitement? When I'm sending email, when I'm working with buyers, sellers, I've been in the business for 40 years, and so that's really a great thing to remember. How do I flip it to excitement and just mix it up, have fun? I thought it was pretty cool. We all stood up and we laughed, Make it fun. Life is too short to just be boring, right? So that's number 1, is how you think and your mindset. Okay, so that's the first. And then the second talking point is how you manage your time. And so this ties into our topics today and how we manage our time in real estate. So I use what's called a 135, a GPS. Okay, so thanks. So this is the 135. So basically what this is it's called the GPS. How many of you have a GPS in your car or on your phone now, right? Any of you remember the Thomas Brothers map? Anybody? Woo, right? Okay. So a GPS is a global positioning system, right? Or this particular GPS stands for goals, priorities, and strategies, okay? And I'll have one of these available on my Facebook, okay? So you can just go to Tom Day's Team Facebook. We'll have one of these for you. Or you can just Google 135 and Boomtown has them. So anyway, and it stands for 1 goal, 3 priorities, and then 5 strategies. So if we have our one main goal is 100 plus closings, then we would have as an example 3 strategies to achieve this goal. And so, for example, we have open house. We talked about that today. We also have database, and we also have prospecting. So one thing to remember is that you need to align yourself with types of activities that align with yourself, okay? So, for example, myself, I have had different type of activities in businesses, and truth be told, I have fallen into the realm of only having 1 bucket of business through the years. I've done flips, and that was all I did. I did REOs, that was all I did. Worked with Blackstone Private Equity, that was all I did. Your business is far more sustainable if you have at least 3 buckets of business. These are 3 great ones that we have right here. And then your business is going to be sustainable. So, and then once we determine what our buckets of business are, then that's going to determine your schedule. That's going to determine what you need to carve out time for. And then that's what we have to really be disciplined to foster. And I love Jim Rohn's quote that discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. You think of all successful people, whether they're a business person, a sports athlete, man, they're determined. I mean, if you think of that, they're disciplined. And the schedule, your schedule is the foundation of your business. So make sure that you align your goals and your strategy and your priorities with your schedule. So let's do to the next. Okay, so here, these are the 5 tactics for each strategy. So we have the open houses, and I recommend to hit at least 100 closings a year. These are the activities that you will need to have, okay? So for open houses, 2 a week, and then when you hold those open houses, knock on 100 doors, and then follow the open house system, which I will go through in a moment, and add your contacts to your database, and then have scripts and dialogues, and have your, your what you say. Make sure that you say the correct things to improve your conversion. So then, with the database, that's the second. I recommend a 44 touch, and we'll go through that in a minute. And then 10 contacts a day, phone calls quarterly, client events, and then add 20 contacts to your database each week. And then we have with the whatever line of business, if you, I just use for sale by owners, expireds, implement a for sale by owner expired touch plan, 10 circle contacts a day, and then scripts and dialogues. And then also I recommend to teach a class. That's one of the best ways that we grow is to teach, okay? So if we could go to the open house, please. Okay, so now we'll go through the open house guide. So, and again, this is, I'm going to put this on my Tom Days Team Facebook so you guys can have it. If you don't, just text me your email address and I'll send it to you. Anyway, so why open houses? Okay, so let me, this guy here, okay. So basically open houses are free. They're free sources of business, and we can create and obtain so much business from it. It's the best way of getting in front of new buyers, best way of getting in front of new sellers, get name recognition in the area, and they're excellent leads. And basically, the statistics are there's a 10% conversion rate with open houses. So I recommend with the 2 open houses each week, you're going to have a total of 29 transactions at the end of the year. And then our open house system. So basically with the open house system, at the beginning of the week, pick your open house and then go and door knock that neighborhood 100 doors. And then call through the neighborhood. We use a Mojo dialing system. I'm sure that there's systems available to call through the neighborhood. And then go, of course, post it online, MLS, Zillow, Craigslist, whatever. And then the day of the open house, make sure that you have at least 15 to 20 open house signs. Some agents will just put up maybe 4 signs. It's not going to differentiate you from the rest. But if you have 15 to 20 signs, even if you have to put 4 or 5 signs up in a row, people are going to say, what's going on? I'm going to go check this house out. So make sure you put up a lot of signs. And then I recommend putting up a small table at the door, the front door, about 4 feet from the door when they come in. So you're somewhat of the gatekeeper. So when someone comes in, hi, great, nice to meet you. Tom Daves, please sign in the guest sheet. And on that table, we have, of course, the sign-in sheet, information about the home, and then we also have a little sheet that says, don't forget to ask about our properties that are not yet listed. And then allow them to go through the home, take a look, kind of maybe give them a few tips about the home, of course. And then when they come back, first question to ask them is, would you like to buy the home? A lot of you guys, some people are kind of surprised to be that bold, but what that does is it kind of puts them in a funnel, so to speak, the conversation in a funnel. Would you like to buy the home, right? I would just try it. Next time, I'd like to hear some feedback. Would you like to buy the home? What are they going to say? They're going to say, oh, no, this is just the 3-bedroom. We want a 5-bedroom. Oh, great. Well, we should meet. When is a good time to meet so we can show you all the 5-bedroom homes? Are weekdays or weekends better? So if you start with that line of conversation, then it's going to get you to an appointment. And like someone said, Marguerite, I would never, ever be a jump and run realtor. Okay, we'd like to see this home over on Main Street. Jump and run, I'll be there. Buyer consultations, we're professionals, and we need to have a buyer consultation for four reasons. Number one is needs analysis. We really want to find out what they're looking for and how we can help them. Number two is value proposition. Let them know how we can help them and serve them. What's our value proposition? Number three, sign the buyer agreement, right? Sign the contract. And then number four is expectations. Just to share with them the expectations of the market. Right now, you can't come in with a lowball offer and those types of things. So that's a little bit about the consultation. So that is the open house process and the system. But really the key, and I know Marguerite and a few others have mentioned, the fortune is in the follow-up. So after an open house, call them, text them, email them that afternoon, that evening, because if they go through your open house, they're going through other agents' open houses also. So over-communicate. Continue to email them, contact them, text them right away, immediately. And then the same thing the next day. And I've heard agents say, oh, yeah, well, I called them and left a message. I haven't heard back from them yet. Well, you need to just be in touch with them, blow up their phone, okay? You should call them, text them, email them until they tell you, please don't call me, text me, or email me anymore. Why are we afraid of a stranger? Now if someone in our family or our wife or husband said, don't bug me, you're pissing me off, then it could hurt our feelings, right? But if it's a stranger that says, don't call me, who cares, right? So the follow-up is the key. So if I can find it, we will have the top 10 mistakes that agents make with follow-up. And the first one is to have a bulletproof follow-up system. It doesn't matter which one you use. The key is just to pick one and use it, okay? And then mistake number 2 with follow-up is you wait too long. For example, they say to call back in 2 months. So don't call back in 2 months. Call them back. If they say 2 months, always cut it in half. If they say 2 months, call them back in a month. If they say 2 weeks, call them back in a week. Cut it in half and never let more than 30 days go by without contact. So you wait too long. Then number 3 is you assume the client receives the information. You send them an email, you send them a text, you send them a voicemail. Never, ever assume that they receive the information. It's a great opportunity after you send them an email. It's a great opportunity to call them back and confirm they got it. Number 3 is email is not communication. I don't know of anyone that bought a home because you crafted an amazing email, right? So they're not going to hire you because of a great email. It's a great tool for communication, but it's not communication. Number 5 is we give up on the lead too soon. We call them, text them, and then all of a sudden, well, I'm just going to throw this away. They didn't call me back. So don't give up on the lead too soon. And texting is, actually, I have a little statistic on texting. 328% of our leads are more likely to convert when you text them at least 3 times. So I don't know about you guys, but aren't you more apt to respond to a text than email? So it's another thing to keep in mind. Number 6 is we don't act on our own intuition. We need to trust our gut, trust your intuition. When you feel that you need to call someone, follow up, trust your gut. We don't act on our own intuition. Number 7 is we project our emotions on them. Oh, I'm being too pushy. I better wait. Don't project your your emotions on them. Number 8 is we verbally vomit, right? We call them, text. We finally get hold of them, and then we do the dump truck, right? Oh yeah, this house is amazing. It's wonderful. I have an amazing marketing plan, and just we verbally vomit. Don't make sure that you ask great questions and stick to your script and stay on track. Number 9 is we don't ask when would be a great time to follow up. We always need to ask when would be a great time to follow up. If you meet with someone and you don't ask them, or if you don't set another appointment, then that's a fumble. Number 10 is we don't set proper expectations. We need to let them know what's going to happen next. This is the first home they've ever bought. It's probably the first or the second home that they listed. We know what's going to happen next. They don't. We need to tell them, okay, this is what's going to happen next. And then actually as a bonus, we have, remember, we are the professionals, not the other way around. We know what we're doing. We're the professionals, and we need to help them and guide them through this process. So there you have the top 10, the top 11 mistakes that agents make for follow-up. Okay, so now we have the third talking point, and this one is, as I mentioned, who you spend time with, right? So who we're in business with, who we spend time with, and of course, I'm sure that you've heard Jim Rohn again, you are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. And we're greatly influenced by who we're with, who we spend time with. Make sure that they're supportive, they're positive, there's a climate of collaboration, right? And this brings me to accountability partner. So if you could double your chances of success by doing one thing, do you think that would be a good thing to do? Yeah. And that is having an accountability partner. Whatever it is, whether it's working out, whether it's sports, whether it's your business, have an accountability partner. It's really helped me immensely. I have, nutrition, sports, my pastor's my mentor, business. It's kind of overkill a little bit, but accountability is huge. I'm sure a lot of you can really relate. So, it brings me to our time, who we spend time with. It's our most precious commodity that we have, especially this time of year. It's, Christmas, it's holidays. Love others, spend time with others, and think about that. If you only had one day left to live, what would you do? Thank you.
There's really been a great theme that has kind of come up today, which is conquering fear. Limited amount of time. And this has really been a very collaborative group. Everyone has been very liberal with their information, which I appreciate. And the reason why all of these fantastic speakers are here today is because of that fantastic, big, handsome man in the back of the room who's closed over 4,000 transactions. He's a radio show host, he's an author, and he's the reason why we're all here today, Mr. Brent Go.
All right. You guys ready to have some fun? Okay, I'm not going to do what Tom did to you, right? But stand up real quick, just real quick. This is the last speaker to do it. And everyone turn around real quick and say hi to the person behind you. Real quick, turn around and say hi to the person behind you. Ah, that's bad. Bad, bad, bad. Sneaky, sneaky, sneaky. All right, grab a seat. We're going to get going. We're on the home stretch. First of all, if you drove or flew over 2 hours to get here, some of people flew from other states, stand up. We just want to recognize your commitment a few days before Christmas. Woo! I know we have some Las Vegas people in the back, Santa Cruz in the back. We got Portland, Oregon over here, right? Portland, yep. And then we have Vancouver over here. Good job. Did you guys drive down here from Vancouver? You flew. Nice. You look like you own a Learjet, dude. You dress nice. By the way, we are doing the Business Planning Clinic January 3rd, 1 to 4. Rick Jihad. Did you like our first speaker, Rick Jihad? A great guy. So Rick and I are going to put that on from 1 to 4 for 3 hours. If you do not have a concrete, step-by-step, very clear, well-thought-out business plan for 2019, 2018 is going to repeat itself. Do we agree? So we don't want that for you. We want to add value to your life. We want to change your life. And in doing so, we're going to change your family's life. We're going to change the way your children live. So we want you to come to that event. You're going to get an Eventbrite invitation to that. Only way you could get it, it's going to be here at PCAR. Just sign the contract, snuck out there, and it's done. So we're going to be here January the 3rd, 1 to 4 for 3 hours. Rick Jihad and myself will co-lead that. It's going to be really good. Do not miss that. If you don't get the Eventbrite for some reason, then please reach out to the person or however you got here and say, send me one of the Eventbrites. It's going to be great. You're going to get full-blown workbooks. It's going to be very intense 3 hours with the two of us. And so just realize that is coming your way. Number 2, the speakers, have they not been phenomenal today? They've been great. I tell you, I was freaking out last night. I'm like, is anyone going to be there? It's a few days before Christmas, and some of you got texts from me like, help, help. I was in Tucson, Arizona. I knew this would be such a success because I've been golfing for the past 3 days. That's how you put on a big event. You just go golfing and hope it all works out. And I was like freaking out in Tucson. I flew to Phoenix. But thank you for coming a few days before Christmas. There is nobody more shocked than me. I will tell you that. Parking lots jam-packed. This is exciting. Okay, well, we're going to put the hammer down and get going. You ready? Okay, so my topic is the secret to success in real estate. I've been at it 22 years, sold over 4,000 homes. I got that call at age 30. Hey, you should get your real estate license. You'd be great. And I answered the call, got my real estate license, and I was not great. I struggled. I sold like 2 or 3 homes in 6 months. Can you believe that? And the first fall, I'm like, this is hard. And I got some great advice from my first broker. This is a freebie. I just wasn't succeeding. And he goes, here's what you do. You just got to find a way. You just got to will it. You got to get people in your car and take them down to Elk Grove and show them homes. So guess what? That's what I got to do because they weren't, hey, there's a house, man. And so I started putting people in my car. And we drove down to Elk Grove. And by the way, I had a truck at that time. And it was a single, flat, one seat, right? No, king cab. And so the wife would be here, the husband, and we'd be jamming down to Elk Grove, man. Hey, this is your lucky day. And no wonder I sold 3 or 4 homes. But the next year, I think I sold 18. The year after that, 28. And then my 4th year, I think I sold 48 homes. Pretty good. Made $393,000. I thought real estate was a license to print money. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so much fun. I'd never made almost $400,000 a year. Now, one of the reasons I made so much money is because I'm so smart. I went to Del Campo High School. Any Del Campo alumni out there? Yes. Everybody got 1,400 SAT scores and 1,200. Brent had a 585. They called Brent in. Brent, we need to talk to you. Yeah, we want to talk to you about your SAT scores. Sure. How'd I do? Well, on that note, were you sick? Did you have the flu? Was something not right? Are you emotionally upset? No, I felt great. How'd I do? Like, well, we're going to get you a tutor. That's how you did. And you're going to retake the SAT. I just think you were distracted. To tell you the truth, it was a 550. So I got a tutor. I studied. We did the math and the science and the English. And I'm proud to tell you I got that sucker up to 585. And then, yeah, seriously. And then my brother, it was 1984, and my brother had gone to Chico State, that private Bible college up north, right? And they said, hey, I'm like, I went and visited him a few times. I'm like, that's my kind of Bible college, I'm a church-going guy now, but back then I was a K. My favorite fraternity was I Tappa Coors. Now, right? So we get up there, and I'm like, I am going to Chico State. So I applied to go to Chico State. I got thank you, but we have certain academic standards here at Chico State. I've never met anybody who didn't get into that school. My mom said I was special. I'm special. They said, no, thank you. And so something went wrong. I went up to Sierra College, and I applied again. Again, another rejection letter. Could get in. Finally, the third time, persistence paid off. They let me in. What happened? I dropped out 2 years later. Now, anyways, it's a true story. But had a great time. But I found out my gift was people. My gift was loving other people. My gift was being authentic, being real, and working my little tail off. Anybody can work hard? Can you have real human being discussions with other people, like authentic, straight, no BS? Just connect with people. Can you do that? That's half of real estate. So, should I start my talk? All right, so if you want to be successful in real estate, the number one thing you need to do is start traveling. Now, I left that up there to be a little like, what the heck is he talking about? Like, go to the Caribbean? Well, you can once you become successful, right? We just got back from Maui. We brought 57 people, our agents, my staff, everybody. Brent got to pay. I need a paper route or something now. But anyways, it was fun. Pay for that. But we had a great time. But what I'm talking about is going to a Mike Ferry event, a Brian Buffini event. Why do I feel like my zipper's down right now? Okay, good, it's not. All right. I'm like, it feels drafty. I just had this picture that my zipper was down. Did I just say that? Anyways, okay. So I'm like, I am not going to do a 25-minute talk with my zipper down. No wonder they're all laughing. Anyways, so I've had way too much coffee. So here's the deal. I'm talking about going to Brian Buffini, Joe Stump, Mike Ferry, Craig Proctor, Mega Camp, RE/MAX's annual convention, the NAR convention, the CR convention, the Women's Council of Realtors, NALREP, ARIA. Wow, you just threw a lot. I've been to every one of them. I was a seeker of knowledge, a seeker of change. I was desperate to succeed. And that's a future slide. Some of you just aren't desperate enough. You're too dang comfortable. You got the easy. You got the 401k from your corporate job before you got here. And you wonder why you struggle in real estate. When you decide you want it so bad that you're willing to change, you will succeed. And until that happens, you're going to not. Does that make sense? You got to want it bad. You got to want it so bad. You got to be, most people are living to die. You got to be dying to live. Who's dying to live, right? So start traveling. Go to events. I've been to some events that were horrible. You didn't think I was going to say that, did you? But I've been to others where I'm flying home on the airplane just going, wow. Well, yeah, you can afford to go. No. When I started, I couldn't afford to go. When I started, I shared hotel rooms. When I started, I put a flight on my credit card. When I started, I borrowed money. I've slept in my car in Monterey because I couldn't afford to pay for the room. There's two kind of poverties in this world. One is financial. The other is mental. I was financially poverty-stricken when I got in this business at 30. I'd just gone bankrupt. But I wasn't mentally. than have mental poverty. Mental poverty is far worse. Mental poverty puts you in the car you drive now, the apartment, the house you live in now. It decides where your family will travel. There's all different levels. Well, I'm not mentally. Really? You're so handicapped by your mind, you don't even know it. Right? I am too, right? So, let's keep going. Start traveling. Number 2, take notes. When you come to these things, you cannot look at the speakers. You can't look at Rick Jihad and go, man, is he really wearing Christmas lights that are flashing? Right? You look at Sean Work, he goes, does he really look like a movie star? Right? And then Rick Jihad looks like the world's most interesting man, right? And then you got Marguerite, who's just beautiful, amazing, and from the heart human being you'd ever meet, right? And then you got Tom Daves, he's like the bionic, the $1 million bionic man. Remember that? What's that guy's name? Steve Austin. He's just good looking, super good. And then I'm glad I put the event on. That's why I'm here. But anyways, I get to, hey, I'll speak. What's your event, I guess, if you have to. So, but take notes. If you take notes, you remember 70% more than if you just sit there and look. If you take notes, what's the saying? Great ideas or moments of inspiration are like slippery fish. If you don't stab them with the end of your pen, they get away. I cannot tell you how many times on airplanes I fly home from conferences and take notes from my notes. And then I come up with actionable items, things I will implement. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's keep going. Number 3, meet people. What do you mean by that? You are not allowed to be shy. You are not allowed to be quiet. Well, I am shy. I am quiet. Stop it! When I was 19, I got into sales. I shook so bad. I remember this one woman up in Chico. I'd lived there for 10 years, got married, had 2 kids. Whoa. Oh, no. All right, we need a new one. We need a new one. That thing just like said 4 pieces. Oh, wow. Okay, let's go. We're done. Now, so I meet this woman. I am shaking so bad. She goes, come. She sent me her desk. Come here, honey. She reached over, put her hand on my back. She said, it's okay. I'll listen to you. Because I had that cojones to talk to her anyways, even though I was shaking with fear. Another guy, David Lindsay. Does anybody know David Lindsay? Car salesman at Whitmire Ford up in Chico. I'm at Cornucopia Restaurant. I'm 19 years old. I see him in the parking lot. He looks like $1 million because he's a car salesman, right? Tan, good looking. He actually looked like the $1 million guy, Steve Austin. He looked like Steve Austin. And again, shaking so bad, he put his hand on my shoulder and said, hey, it's okay, man. See, people, good people, it elicits empathy. Bad people, they'll tell you to go jump in a lake. But here's the deal. Write this down. You ready? Write it down. Here's a good idea. Face your fear, and it'll disappear. Run and hide, it'll be magnified. Until you face it right in the eyes and go, screw this. I've had enough of enough. What's enough? Whatever that is for you. Maybe it's finances. Maybe it's your marriage. In 2010, I went through pain like I didn't know you could have. In 2010, 8 months, my wife and I were separated, man. We got a bunch of kids. It was not fun. I never understood couples who went through divorce. I didn't have any for 18 years till I did have some, right? And I know what it's like to walk around my neighborhood at 3 o'clock in the morning because you can't sleep and you can't breathe and you're walking around. It sucked, man. I was a team leader at Keller Williams. My inner circle knew the pain I was in, but I would speak at P-Card, nobody else knew. When I was bid events, I was just smiling happy, but deep down, some of you today are in a lot of pain. And that's coming up here in my talk, so I got to keep going. Okay, but, back to meet people. You need to meet people. You need to greet people when you go to these events, when you go to Brian Buffini or Joe Stump or a mega camp or somewhere. Meet them. Take them to coffee. Who are you? Where are you from? How many homes do you sell a year? I'm brand new. Hey, can I help you in any way? What if you meet someone who's knocking down 70 sales a year, like Paul Locatelli in the back? He's right there in the black shirt. Raise your hand, Paul. Raise your hand. He hates us. From Santa Cruz. The man looks like a Greek god. Okay, if you really look at him, I'm married. You look good to me, man. Now, here's the deal. So he looks like a surfer, and he's got that square chin. And anyways, so here's the deal. I'm just saying it like it is. I'm okay with it. So here's the deal. Wow, how do you sell 70 homes a year? What is the key to your success? You should be saying that to all people. Be a seeker of knowledge, a seeker of change. But it won't happen if you're quiet. It won't happen if you go eat lunch by yourself, which is Next thing, when you meet people, share what's working. Help them. Don't be weird about it. Now, if you sit at a table with 5 people who sell 500 homes a year, shut your mouth and listen. Right? Don't take over the conversation. You're doing 40. Just listen. Sometimes the brightest thing you could do is be quiet and listen. Okay? Now, don't eat alone. I was jumping ahead a little bit. When you go to an event, I remember going to, where's my dad? Dad, raise your hand over there. Stand up. There's my dad, Jim Gove. Stand up, Pops. I love you, Dad. Just turned 83 on December 10th. Just doing awesome. 55-year real estate broker. I come from a real estate family. Very proud of that, my mom and dad. But, Dad, do you remember going to Toronto, just you and me? Remember that trip? And do you remember Leonard Fazio? Do you remember him from Iowa? I say that all the time. I played golf yesterday and lost. I think I played golf yesterday. I don't remember when I lose. And that's a convenient memory I have. But Leonard Fazio was selling 600 homes a year in Iowa. Who does that? In Iowa, exactly, Iowa. They sell 640 homes a year in the whole state. So I'm kidding. But Leonard's selling 600. Dad, do you remember going to lunch with Leonard Fazio? You just made that up, didn't you, Pop? He's getting it. That was good. Dad, I'm not even sure you were there on that trip. I don't know. It's not important. The point is, I definitely had lunch with Bill Thompson. No, I'm kidding. Leonard Fazio. And he really did sell 600 homes a year. I'm like, man, how do you do this and how do you do that? And what advice do you have for me? I was brand new. I've been in real estate for just a couple years. And I had the guts, after Leonard spoke on that stage, to go, hey, you having lunch today? Can my dad and I take you to lunch? And 1,400 people heard Leonard talk, but me and my dad spent an hour with Leonard at lunch. And it changed my life. But who are you? Am I looking for free lunches here? No. I am not looking for free lunches. I need a few less lunches. So you are not allowed to invite me to lunch, breakfast, or dinner. I will have a cup of tea or coffee with you. I guess Sean said breaking bread, which I learned is apparently a cocktail or something. I don't know. Break bread. Anyways, but here's the deal. I do enjoy a glass of wine from time to time. Now, so here's the deal. You got to spend, Jim Barry's just laughing at me. You've been with me at all these events, right? Do we not do these things? I go, hey, can you, is Pete here? Pete Lindop here? I saw you earlier. Pete, he snuck out the back. Is he here? Is he still here? Raise your hand. There's Pete in the back. Raise your hand. Hi. There he is. Live and turn out. Wave it by, he's English. He hates that. Come on, Pete. Raise your hand. Wave. There he is. So we had Sean Kokoska. He is probably one of the 10 most elite real estate trainers in the nation. He is a very successful guy. He was just here. And Pete goes, hey, do you need a ride back to the airport? He was just going to Uber back from his hotel. And he goes, sure. And then Pete gets to spend 45 minutes with one of the most elite trainers. Are you doing this stuff? Well they could say, well, someone's already given me a ride. I've already got lunch plans. I'm too busy for that. That's the worst thing. But take the time to get around people. And find out who they are, not just the speakers on the stage. Okay, number 6, pay for coaching. When I went to Craig Proctor, it's my first big real estate event, and we're not selling coaching here. I have nothing to sell you. But here's the deal. They offered coaching. The guy I sat next to, there's 14 of 100 of us in the ballroom. He goes, what a joke, man. It was like $5,000 a year. He goes, they just want your money. That was his attitude. Remember, there's financial poverty and mental poverty. His mind told him it was a scam. I sat there and going, oh, what he's saying makes sense. Craig Proctor, #1 RE/MAX agent worldwide out of 128,000. I think I wouldn't mind a little coaching by that guy. And call me a sucker, but I signed up for Craig Proctor coaching. I don't know what it was, $548 a month for a year. Signed a contract. I was really confident. Right? But guess what? He taught me how to leverage my time, how to market, how to build a team, a database, how to do this. All of a sudden, I went from 48 sales, next year 112. Next year 180, next year 240. Next year like 320. Next year 429 sales a year. In 1 year, is that a good year? How many agents in America sell 429 homes in their whole career? But I was teachable and coachable. Are you teachable and coachable? Well, I already know everything. Really? You're about to get passed. Ford, Dodge, Chevy, they knew everything. And who passed them? Honda and Toyota. They call it the Rust Belt. They barely made it through because they weren't teachable, they weren't coachable. They didn't hear that times have changed. Everything's going gas efficient, and these little tiny gas efficient cars, and everyone bought those 30-mile-an-hour Hondas. And if you ever ran over one of them on the road, it's like boom, boom. But people bought them anyways. Okay? They had good gas mileage. It's like, right? It's like the Toyota Prius. You know, bam, bam. What was that, honey? I don't know. I think it was a Prius. I'm sorry. Paul drove here in a Prius from Santa Cruz. He's a, Santa Cruz, save the ocean guy. All right. I got to keep going. I'm going to get myself in trouble. Be teachable. Are you really teachable? Are you just too busy talking? Man, what is it I need to do? What did Rick Jihas said? He goes, how many of you know the one thing you do? And he's like, just do it. You don't need a seminar. Did you write that one down? I mean, there's a guy, Gary Keller. I don't know if you've heard of him. He wrote a book called The One Thing. What's the one thing? You've been to the One Thing seminar? Uh-huh. You've been to expansion seminars? Uh-huh. Man, how do you sell real estate? I go to seminars all the time. They inspire me. They motivate me. I went to this one event. How do I say it? It was the body, mind, soul type of thing. Nothing to do with real estate. It was terrible. I went to another one a year ago. It was phenomenal. And I wish I could tell you every seminar, every coach. I tried coaching, didn't work. Well, try a new coach, right? I tried sushi. I hate it. So did I. It's my favorite food now. I like food. Okay? If where would you go for your birthday? McCooney's. I like McCooney's. I like Taro. That guy's crazy. Okay, implement. So once you get these ideas, once you get this information, you must implement. You're like, that's when I'm on airplanes. I love my time on airplanes flying home. And you take notes from your notes and you come up with things to implement. Not 40, like 2 or 3. Like, what are the 2 or 3 things you're going to do tomorrow? What are the 2 or 3 things you're going to do by the end of next week? What are the 2 or 3 bigger projects that you're going to do by the end of the first month? What are 2 or 3 things, or 1 or 2 that you're going to get done by the end of the year? Or 1, like Gary says, monotask, right? So, very important to implement. Number 9, fail often and quickly. What do I mean by that? You want to get good at real estate, do a lot of it. I've done more open houses than anyone in this room. I'm quite convinced of it. For years and years and years and years, I did them Saturday and Sunday. Until I built a huge team and didn't have to do them anymore. I don't do open. I haven't done open house in decades. Like 5 decades. But the point is, I don't have to do them anymore. I teach my agents how to do them, do 1 or 2, and I'm out. But I did it, and I got really good at it. I mean, how do you think I'd be really good at an open house? Man, I would pull up chairs, stand in front of people, get everyone in the kitchen, 30 people in the kitchen, and say, let me tell you what's happening here today. Is that how you do your open house? How do you get so many people? Go to Facebook, go to my wall. James, can you bring it to the top? And I sell how to do a mega open house for $5.95. Been selling it for years all over the country. Sold lots of them. $5.95. Because people call me and talk to me for an hour about it. I go, here, buy my DVD. So I monetized it. You can have it. I did a talk here at PCAR last April. And it's the best one I've ever done. Fully updated. It's free. It's on my wall. So you're like, what's a wall? I don't know either, but they told me to say that, okay? It's on my wall of Facebook, okay? You don't know what a wall is. No, I don't know. I couldn't find my own wall, okay? Find your wall. Now, find a 14-year-old, they'll show you the wall, right? Find a 12-year-old, your neighbor. Now, fail often and quickly, though. That's how you get, some of you, here's the deal. Someone was talking about money earlier, and it was Marguerite. And she's talking about, why are we so focused on the internet and the internet and the internet? Well, it's just money. We would rather spend our money than risk our precious ego. Because when you're calling expireds and they're not nice, it doesn't feel great, does it? When you do open houses and you go, hey, can I get your information? And they hold your card in your face and they go, sweetie, we got your card. We'll call you if we need you. Does that feel good? I hated it. I give them their stuff back and say, call someone you can talk to. Just email me. I go, if you can't give me your cell phone, a basic form of human communication, obviously you're not comfortable with me. You say it to them. Yeah, it's so much fun. And I go, find an agent you can actually talk to. I refuse to email anybody. I mean, well, of course I email, but if they're not going to give me anything but their email, that means you're a total weirdo, and I'm just going to email you. I mean, that right? I mean, we give our cell phone numbers, so I didn't build enough rapport or trust. And I know it may shock you, but I'm not everybody's flavor, right? So let's keep going. Observe. What do you mean observe? Find people that are killing it, and then you go kill it. Find someone who has 7 homes in escrow and ask them what they're doing, and then emulate, which is probably the next one. Emulate. Emulate success. Copy success. My entire open house program that I've been doing for 18 years came from John Brooks Realty. Any old timers here? Does anybody remember John Brooks Realty? Raise your hand. One person. That person, John Brooks Realty, I've made as much as $3.8 million gross commission income in 1 year because of John Brooks Realty, and only one person in this room knows them. Because they just did sales. They didn't build anything. Principle number whatever I'm on, which I haven't even got to the principles, build something that'll kick out income. I copied John Brooks Realty and have made millions and millions and millions of dollars copying them. You want to know what they do? Go to my wall at Facebook, and there's a 90-minute presentation that I sell for $5.95 for free. You can have it, and it was really good in my humble opinion. So emulate success. Number 12, the puzzle. I love the puzzle. This is a story of a little boy. He's 5 years old. He's bugging his dad. His dad's an executive. His dad is trying to finish quarterly reports, and he keeps coming in and saying, Dad, let's go play catch. Dad, let's watch TV. Dad, let's do this. And he's on a deadline. He has got to finish this quarterly report. And he's a good dad. He's not a bad dad. But he's got this 5-year-old all over him, and he just can't finish. So he goes, aha, I got it. He goes and grabs one of those puzzles that you could do when you're trapped in a snowbound cabin at Tahoe and it just snowed in. And it's like 1,000-piece, and it's got the world on it. It's quite elaborate. And basically, what it does, he says, here, when you finish this, we'll go hang out. That'll keep him busy. And man, 10 minutes later, the kid comes in. I'm done, Dad. Let's go play a catch or whatever. He's like, what? There's no way. He goes, yeah, Dad, look. And sure enough, the whole world was put together. And it's elaborate. He goes, how in the world did you do that? And he flips it over. He goes, on the other side is a picture of a man. And it could be a woman. I don't mean to be, sexist here. It's a picture of a woman. Let's not be sexist. Or now all you guys are hurt. Now, deal with it. Now, so there's a picture of a woman, and the little boy goes, it was simple, Dad. I just, instead of putting the world together, I just put the person together. I put the woman together. And once I put the woman together, the whole world came together. Isn't that good? Isn't that good? I heard that. That was very sweet. So, brings me to my next topic, Tony Robbins. What do you mean? I was fortunate in 1999, before 9/11, before Hong Kong went back to China. It was still controlled by the British. I went to Hong Kong. From there, I smuggled Bibles into Chengdu and China, which was like, they send you to Mongolia if they catch you. It was like, I don't know, that's crazy. I want to go do it, right? And so we smuggled with 19 people. We smuggled Bibles into China. That's what I did for 19 days. Backpacks, suitcases, clothes with Bibles sewed into them, because it was illegal to have a Bible. You get in big trouble. So I'm like, perfect, sign me up. And then I went to Chengdu. I went to Lhasa. I ended up in Tibet, in the Dalai Lama's palace. We're sharing stuff with Buddhist monks that have never, ever even seen a Bible because it's outlawed, right? And I had a great time for 19 days in the Orient. Who here's ever been to the Orient? Anybody? It's amazing. So help me out here. You ready? Everyone together. Say the word silk. Say the word silk. One more time. Say the word silk. What do cows drink? Water. Cows drink water. Why did you say milk? Well, it was a little trick. No, there's stuff going on in your mind that makes you react a certain way. And it's not how you act in life, it's how you react when the chips are down. When it's too tough for you, it's just right for me. What have I read? Who have I hung out with? What events did I go to? Or what bars did I hang out in? What drugs did I take? What people am I hanging out with that are tearing me down? Go get a real job, get out of real estate. And so you got to implement the principle of vacuum, which is coming up. But one of the people who can help you win inside is Tony Robbins. I'd never been to a Tony Robbins event. It's one of the only things I'd never gone to. So I just thought they were weird. And the only reason I thought they were weird is because you walk on fire. I'm not walking on fire. That's weird. They're a bunch of weirdos. Well, 2 years ago I went. I'm weird now, boy. So here's the deal. It was great. I'm telling you, it was absolutely fantastic. Did I agree with everything Tony Robbins said? No. Did you go to college? Did you agree with everything your college professors ever said? No. And 98% of what he said I really liked and enjoyed. Maybe 99. So that night, there's no way I'm walking on fire. But 1 a.m., Brinko was going, ooh, ooh. And I did it, man. I walked on fire. It was awesome, man. It was good. That's not even the point. If you've never been to a Tony Robbins event, you should go, because it's all about controlling your thinking. It's about being mentally broke. It's about learning to win inside, to control your thoughts. You just react a certain way. A little while ago, I pulled out of my gated community, and it was 7:30. The sun's barreling. I'm turning east, and the sun is like in my face. I can't even see. I'm squinting. I look right. I see a car coming. It wasn't close. I pull out, and it wasn't even close to the guy. He comes up on me at like 90, slamming on his brakes, flashing his lights, shaking his fist. And instantly, I got to be honest with you, this is years ago before I was mature, I started getting pissed. I'm like, dude, I wasn't even close. Calm the heck down. And it's not how you react. It's not how you act. It's how you react. But I got to admit, I kind of got upset, right? But I held it in, and he made a right, thank heavens, because I'm like, whoa, I didn't deserve that. And I'm driving down there. I mean, I've never flipped anybody off driving, but you know what I mean? I was upset. And I didn't do it. Phone rings 30 seconds later. Hey, Brent, this is Tony. I saw you pull out of your development. I was trying to get your attention, man. How are you? And I'm almost like, could you imagine? Hey, Tony, I'm doing good, Tony. Right? So the other day, I passed a guy in a big truck with big tires. And guys in giant trucks, giant tires, they want to do what? They want to dominate. They're telling you, I'm going to run you over. I work out at Gold's Gym with Arnold. And so, right? And I cut him off bad. Didn't see him. It was totally my bad. He pulls up next to me, and he is cussing, swearing, screaming. He's about to just drive over me. It's a couple years ago. And it startled me, but I'm like, hey, man, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. My bad. And he was close enough where he could see it. He goes, oh, it's cool. No problem. And he's like, mwah. But see, who's going to win who? Who's going to sway who? I'm bringing people to my side. So, wow, did I have that again? Did I cover that one? I went the wrong way. Somehow I went the wrong way. So, be desperate. We're on the home stretch. Be desperate to succeed. Some of you are too comfortable. Don't be needy. There's a difference between needy and desperate. Desperate just means you want it so bad you'll chew through leather. You'll figure it out, okay? Pain is a good thing. Some of you are in pain today. We talked about my pain in 2010. I'm not in that kind of pain now. My wife likes me again. Let's hear it for my wife, right? I like her. I always liked her. Anyways, there's just a little while where she wasn't sure she liked me. I don't know why. Anyways, but some of you are in pain today. You know what I want to say? That's awesome. Because here's one worth writing down. It's not the force of the gale, but the set of your sail that determines your direction in life. I'll say it again. It's not the force of the gale, but the set of your sail. See, wind is good if you're in a sailboat, and you'll go what? Faster. Pain will move you. Pain is good. Take it in and realize it's time for change. Some of you just aren't in enough pain to change. I was in so much pain, we went to 37 marriage counseling appointments for an hour with a marriage counselor I didn't like. But I wanted to stay married, so I went. I didn't like what he had to say to me, but I learned. Once I stopped dreaming about tackling him through the window. I'm not even joking on that one, okay? Tony Robbins, I want to hurt this boy. Anyways, but you go through things. Plan, you got to have a plan. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. More people spend time planning their wedding and their vacations than they do their financial future. January 3rd, in this room, in 2 weeks? Rick Jiha, I promised him I wouldn't dress nicer than him. That day, business planning clinic, register for that. Pleasure, once you execute, you emulate, you copy people that are succeeding, You get to have some pleasure. You get to go places. We're going to Cancun into March on a dream vacation. I mean, it's going to be amazing. We just got back from Maui. We're going to the Planet of the Caribbean trip. I mean, we get to this point, but I've gone through these processes. 18 givers. I got 3 left. We're done. Givers, here's the bottom line. There's takers and there's givers. There's well poisoners and there's life enhancers. You ever met a well poisoner? You ever worked with a well poisoner? Today we use words like they're toxic, right? Get away from them, right? Don't hang out with toxic well poisoners. But who are you? Are you a life enhancer? What did you do for the secretary at Les Schwab? What did you do for your trash man? What did you do for the pool guy that takes care of your neighbor's pool because you don't got one? But he's hot. Did you run over a Mountain Dew to him? Right? Do you help people? Are you with me? Doing things for people that could do nothing for you, that's when you're winning in life. Gang members do nice things for their fellow gang member friends. What did Jesus say? Do nice things for your enemies, right? Help, everybody help people. If you're just doing nice things for people who can help you, you're a user. Right? Don't be a user, and I know you're not. I'm preaching to the choir. You're here. It's Christmas. Principles, I'll give you one. There's many. How about the principle of vacuum? Get rid of what you don't want to make room for what you do want. Go home, empty your master bedroom closet. 2/3 of all clothes. Give them to Goodwill, give them to a needy family. Go home, empty your garage. Give it away, whatever, right? Have a sale on Craigslist. Raise money, give it to a needy family. Skip Christmas this year. Take the money you're going to spend and give it to another family. Whatever you're going to do. But principles, get rid of negative things that are taking your energy in your life. Finally, boundaries. What are boundaries? We want to prosper and do well at real estate. But you cannot let it work 24/7. And some of you in this room have been guilty at times of working a lot. I would not stare at anyone in this room. Now, anyways, but here's the deal. We've all been there, right? And you need to put real estate in a box. So you decide, that's that plan. When am I going to be mom? When am I going to be a dad? When am I coaching soccer? Am I present? We heard about that, being present. And then when you work your little bottom off. When you play. Your kids desperately need a mom. Get off the phone. Leave it in the glove box. So my clients, what's more important, your kids or your clients? What's more important, your wife or your clients? Your husband or your clients? Well, I might lose, then lose it. What's better, to lose your wife or to lose your clients? I'd rather lose some clients. I've totally lost clients. Clients are awesome. I care about them, but I care about my wife more. I had to learn that lesson in 2010. I care about my children more. They're going to be gone. I have 6 kids. 6. All boys, except for 4 girls. So here's the deal. My youngest is 15. 2 15-year-olds, 17, 19, 24, 26. The 26-year-old wants to move to Tahoe. The 24-year-old wants to go to Norway. You got to ask yourself, why do they want to get away? I don't know. What'd I do? No, I'm just kidding. But they fly the nest. You're not going to have them forever. This is special, however they are. Man, embrace it. Finally, here's a chance. A date with destiny. What do we mean here? You guys, I'm from Chico, 10 years. My first 2 kids were born at Enloe Hospital. I've been to Paradise a lot, 50 times. And I have friends in Paradise that they're sleeping in Kmart in tents with their kids. They go to the bathroom in a porta potty, man. So here's the deal. You don't have to participate. Some of you are at low tide. Just sit back and watch. But some of you have been blessed with a large commission check, or you've just got the finances. Here's your chance to take one of the speakers out to lunch. We're going to bid on them. The proceeds, if you win lunch for $300 or something with Rick Jiha or Marguerite or Tom Daves, they'll spend an hour with you at lunch helping you with your business. You can build a relationship with that speaker that may go on the rest of your life. And the money that you bid on taking the speaker to lunch is going to go to the Red Cross Campfire Victims Relief Fund today.